as the fans know you as the Marvelous One, the bodybuilder, as a performer. But who is Melvin Anthony off stage?
Off stage, I'm just a man. I just try to re-evolve in all aspects of my life. And I want to be the person that everyone remembers. So the more positive things I did, the more wins I got. And that's why I trained so hard, because I was afraid to fail. There's no quit in me. And that's just from the neighborhood. That was instilled in me running around my friends. You can jump me 7 guys. And guess what? I'm not quitting. And if I got to come back, it's hell to pay. And I was like, I don't have to hurt them. I can hurt these weights, because that's a battle every second in that gym. Every rep, every contraction, every squat, every push-up, whatever it is, no quit. So my gift was, and still is to this day, is to be able to take a song that a person can understand that says something. A lot of these guys are posing, they're not saying anything, they're just contracting muscle. And I was a master at that. I learned the right way. I could tell a story on how I was feeling or what I was trying to display through my music, and everybody understood it. My fans understood what I was saying, which made it beautiful. You listen to what was being said, you could tell what I was thinking and who I was saying it to.
So you were breaking up with the girls up on stage, were you?
I did.
Whoa!
I did.
That is.
If you go back and just look at facts and stats, how many posing awards were offered and who has the most? I do. I've won every posing award that was ever offered, some 2 or 3 times over.
Which Olympian do you think was your favorite Olympian?
Ain't nobody touching Ronnie Coleman even today. That man was 2 people inside of each other.
It was, wasn't it? Who had the best posing routine?
So for me, the all-time greatest poser, it was Sergio Oliva.
Hey guys, before we get into the podcast, this episode is sponsored by Alka Power, Australia's #1 alkaline water, trusted for its high pH and ultra hydrating benefits. Find it in major supermarkets, health food stores, and selected petrol stations across Australia. Go to alkapower.com.au if you want to learn more. Nutrition Warehouse, not your average supplement store. If you're serious about lifting, this is the place. No fluffs, just high quality proteins and pre-workouts. Every supplement need that you would require, found under one roof inside every Nutrition Warehouse store. Shop in store or online, nutritionwarehouse.com.au, and grab a cheeky 50% off, that's 15% off, by using discount code MUSCLETALKS, either online or in store. Macro Foods, ready-made meals that actually hit your macros. Tasty, high-protein meals designed to fuel your goals without the prep time. Head to Macro Foods, that's macrofoods with a Z.com.au, and use code MTP10 for 10% off all your orders. Today, we're joined by a true icon in the sport. Someone who not only built an incredible physique, but also redefined what it means to perform on stage. He's known as the Marvelous One, a bodybuilder celebrated for his symmetry, charisma, and legendary posing routines that turned competitions into pure entertainment. From winning the 1999 NPC, USA Championship to earning his place amongst the best in the world on the Mr. Olympia stage, he competed in an era stacked with giants and still managed to stand out, not just with muscle, but with art. Many still say no one could hit a routine quite like him. But behind the Marvelous One is also a man of faith, resilience, and wisdom. Someone who has lived through the highs and lows of the sport and continues to inspire athletes today. In my honor to welcome to our podcast, the one and only Melvin Anthony. How are you, brother?
Good. That was a crazy build-up.
Yeah. I told you.
I know all that stuff about myself.
Yeah, I know. Like, I'm just waiting for someone to write something about me. But like I said to you, I'll just talk about myself every day.
Yeah, give your own biography.
Don't you think so? Don't you think that? Don't you think people miss the point that it all starts with you first? If you can't believe in yourself, even when you feel fractured somewhat inside yourself, sometimes the only way you pull yourself out is to have some kind of ego sometimes on yourself, not anyone else. What do you think?
Definitely. I think you have to put the pressure, I think, on yourself to even make it to the next day.
Yeah.
There are so many issues in the world today that you have to kind of look at it like I try to find the good out of everything I do.
Yeah.
Even in the midst of turmoil, the pressure has to be on yourself to get out of that position. And it's all a formula and it's all execution. So yeah, what you said is a very clean thought. You have to try to have some type of confidence or some type of an ego, but not to the point where it hurts others.
Yeah, but again, I don't know about you. I don't know, like, I think it's my look, but a lot of people mistaken it as something else. And I don't know where it comes from. Like, I've been called entitled. So people think I'm entitled. I said, I'm not entitled to nothing, but I deserve everything. That's what I tell them. I'm entitled to nothing, but I deserve everything. I deserve happiness. I deserve money. I deserve success, but I'm not entitled. But when they think you're entitled, and the other thing is, and I'll ask you, I've also had where people say, you just want people to, tell you you're doing a good job. And this is what I tell them. Excuse my French. I said, fucking oath. I said, because I tell myself that. And if you're not thinking that, why are we hanging out? Why are we even hanging out? Like, of course I want you to tell me I'm doing a great job, but I don't need it because it always starts, well, I'll say the truth. It starts from God. That's first. If God thinks I'm doing a good job, that's all that matters. That's one. If I think I'm doing a good job because I'm happy, he's happy with me, it's cool. But if I get a crowd liking it, how good is it having a crowd as well?
Definitely. I mean, I don't know how many Bible readers are out there, but a lot of us, especially over 40, grew up in that environment to where you had to know something about, the word of God, no matter if it's Jehovah, if it's Mormon, if it's Muslim, if it's Sri Lanka, if it's Buddhism, there are all types of ways for a person to practice to feel their peace. There's also a formula that he has, or these different books, these different relationships with God or their supreme being. There's certain things you have to do in order to attain that. Yeah. So, people think certain things are like, oh, it's ego, or it's this, it's that. Well, if you don't think you deserve anything, you're not going to get it. Yeah. The Bible says, ask and you shall receive. If you're not asking, nobody going to tell you how to get it. Nobody can give you the formula to get where you want to go. No way. If your friends or your people that are around you, if they're not like-minded, then most definitely you must have to cut the rope because they can drag you back into a pit where you don't want to be. I grew up that way. You have to pull away from certain things. And even in my 50s, learn the lesson. There's a lesson in every failure. There's a lesson. There's a reason why they say Jesus said, hey, just, get up off your knees. If a person turns your way, wipe the dust off and keep going. It means that everybody that doesn't like you or everybody that tries to stop you or get in your way in order to attain a certain thing, it's their truth. So let them have it. He just means if they say no, cool, they'll deal with that later. The lesson is move on to the next one, because the friends that are around you that support you, the fans that are around you that support you, that are really on the same path, want you to win. They should support you. They should tell you look great. They should tell you the truth. And if the truth is a lie, then you have to be the one to weed out those people and cut those people off.
Amen to that. I agree. I realized, and again, you could probably vouch for this, we're never alone. Even when we're in the car driving on our own, we're not with God. He's beside us. Jesus is there. That's when people say, I'm alone. I think I'm never alone. I'm never alone. And the other one I'll go with is this. It's amazing how, as we get older, we believe there should not be a master, a father, let's call it that, whatever it might be. And I use this analogy to people to make them understand that when we were young kids, like yourself and me, and you're at the lolly shop, you're at the shop and your mate says to you, do you want to steal some lollies? Now, I can tell you, I will go with this story. You said no. And I can tell you why you said no, firstly, without knowing as a young, naive kid, because you were worried of your parents. But wait a minute, your parents weren't even there. So how did you worry about your mum and dad? But as we get older, we're egotistically to believe that no one's watching us. But still, every day, we have to say no to the lollies, even at 56. Hey, guys, I just want to say thank you so much to everyone who has subscribed, who is following us on all platforms, but especially here on YouTube. And if you're listening to us on Spotify, please, if you could do us a big favor, which helps us reach more people, get better, bigger, greater. We've already had some great guests anyway. Everyone's been a treat. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell so you're notified every week a new podcast that is launched. And I just want to say a big thank you. But again, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and enjoy watching Muscle Talks podcast.
I probably would have went. I did the other. I would be on the other side of that fence. I grew up in the church. You know, a little bit about me. I was dedicated without knowledge given to the church. Yeah. So back in those days, the Pentecostal church, the high hallelujah shout, all this. I grew up in that environment and until I my teenage years.
Yes.
My mother gave me as being the oldest son. They're given to the church. Now, why? She said, I did it to protect you. It's the only way I could protect you. And I believe in my older years now, my wiser years, because I don't think I'm old at all, that,
I love that.
Those prayers and that dedication to the church kept me probably from dying.
Really?
Because there's not too many things that I didn't get into. So even it gets so bad that the influence of, like you said, theft. I am not a thief. Right. I'm not good at it.
Yeah.
So that influence started in the 5th grade. You know, hey, let's go to the store where none of us got no money. You know, we're going to get some candy. We're going to just what you said. And I went. That influence or that pressure, I succumbed to it because it was different from what I was taught growing up. Right. You don't steal. You don't kill. You don't talk about people. You don't give a false testimony. You don't plot. You don't create malice. You don't assault. You don't hit. You don't steal. You don't kill. You don't destroy. But at that moment, when you're around 8 different people, we're going to the store. I wanted candy. I wanted candy too. So I went. I totally went. I went to the store and I'm like, I had on a shirt and I'll never forget. I had on white OP shorts. You remember those shorts they used to cut up the side of your leg?
OPP with your OPP.
The OPPs. I had the OPs on. Yeah. Go up the fence. We leave. I ditched for the first time in the 5th grade. Yeah. So growing up in a lower middle class neighborhood, I jumped the fence. You know, mixed people, wasn't white and black. You know, a couple of Hispanics. They were all stealing. I didn't know the first thing about stealing anything, but I knew what I was doing was wrong. Yeah. I hear one side, mom's gonna kill you, and I was afraid to death. Even to this day, I respect my mom. Of course. At the same time, I'm with 8 people. My mom's not there, like you said. I went in my store and I put the Twinkies right up under my armpits because I didn't have no pockets. I didn't have a jacket. I'm like, well, I'm gonna just make it. The devil had to told me this. Put it in the obvious spot. Yeah. So I put it under my armpits, and everybody's walking out the store. I was like the 4th one, not realizing that when I'm moving, it's making that sound. But the Twinkies make those crispy sounds.
God.
Get to the door and got boop boop. I get the tap on the shoulder. Come with me, son. Oh man, I started crying because the first thing I'm thinking, my mom is gonna kill me. Yeah. We're gonna call the cops, but don't call my mom.
Yeah, that's right.
I told him to call. Yeah, if you're gonna go, I'll go to jail. I did it. Yeah, but don't call my mom. So that relationship right there, it taught me the lesson is I'm not good at stealing, so don't do it.
Yeah. Well,
so growing up in the neighborhood, there's a difference between people, and it's funny because in college I took a advanced class on gangs and theft and crime, and there's a difference between stealing and taking.
Go ahead.
So stealing is you're looking around and put it in the pocket and sneak out the door. Burglar. Yeah. But taking is jacking, give me that. What size shoe is that? My size. Yeah. Give me them shoes. That's taking. Yeah. And there's a difference in the two. They're both crimes, but approached differently. So I went through that. I didn't take the you shouldn't do. I did it.
So tell me about a few of you, like even Flex Wheeler, and he's got quite a story too. We know his story. So tell me about the gang life, the lower economic side. And because I believe it's, correct me if I'm wrong, it's kind of like, I shouldn't say it like this, but maybe it's an art to survive. It's because sometimes, mafias, crime gangs, they're like businesses. Like you learn there's hierarchy, there's this, there's that. There's a lot of things that go into companies, what I'm trying to say, like in governments. Yes. So like you said, to steal, you're like hiding, but when you're a gangster, it's your transactions, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
It's
So,
like the transaction.
Yeah,
You're gonna do it or I'm gonna take it by
yeah,
any
yeah.
means.
So tell me a little bit about that.
I mean, growing up where I grew up, you know, there were two different neighborhoods that had influence. So in Riverside, you know, you had, you know, the low class, you had your projects in some areas, and then you had a low middle where you're kind of right above that line. You know, you still got the WIC, you still got the government cheese, you still got the, you know, we got cereal, it was in a bag, it didn't come in a box. Sugar Smacks had no sugar on it. You know, Cheerios wasn't all the way crunchy. You know what I mean? They had that government cheese. You know what I mean? That government cheese that you put on your bologna sandwich, and they had that long bologna with the red tape around it. If you had that, oh, you didn't have no money.
Yeah.
You might have thought you had some meat, but I don't know what that was, alien meat.
That was
So
something.
we grew up eating that. So, you know, in the neighborhood where I grew up, it was a lot of there's a lot of influence. Yeah, you had athletes. Yeah, you had the drug you know, influence, but it didn't really take a toll until in the older years. So growing up as a youngster, I believe that for me, I was a skinny kid. I mean, and I had a beautiful sister. So it didn't work out so well. Everybody was like trying to talk to my sisters, and you know, I'm the middle child, the oldest boy. So you know, they would, you know, I got a lot of getting jumped and, you know, getting hit and getting embarrassed and getting, you know, told us you ain't nothing, ain't never gonna be nothing, you're a punk, this or that. So, you know, people sometimes have to realize what they say and what kind of influence it has on a boy child. So growing up, you know, I picked up the aggression. I picked it up really young. So, you know, once I figured out that, hey, I could fight, you know, because, you know, my sister was a fighter. People just think, oh, you learn from guys. No, I learned how to fight from a female. Like literally throw hands. My older sister beat up most of the guys in my neighborhood.
Wow. Yeah, and she was beautiful.
After church.
And she was beautiful.
After church. Yeah, she was cute. So, you know, having a cute girl beat you up.
That's bad. Yeah.
It's bad. It's bad. So, you know, you had different environments. You had, you know, in our neighborhood, you had Crips, you had Bloods, you had, you know, SAs, you had, you know, we call this place up atop of the hill, up atop of Central, we call it Honky Hills. Now, I know it's a bad word to call a white person a honky, but honky with us meant you had money. So, you know, now if I'd have called you the other word, then that's a bad word. So up on the top of the hill, you had their little group. So there were a lot of groups in our environment that, you know, during school would cause conflict. So, you know, the first time I was able to, you know, really, you know, get out of my shell, you know, I was getting picked on by a guy that he was a big guy, and he was my sister's age, which is 4 years older than me. And that's when I got my first taste of just getting jumped on repeatedly. And my sister was like, you know what? You're gonna either fight this guy, and this guy's name was Duck. Never forget his name. I don't care if he say slander, libel, whatever. There's no slander when it's facts. This guy Duck was a tyrant. Yeah. You know, and right now I think he's in jail for 100-some years because he's, you know, stabbed a person repeatedly. Yeah. And just people don't realize that, you know, growing up in where I grew up, I really couldn't talk about these things, you know, coming through the ranks, because you would be looked at, oh, he's a thug, he's this. Oh, I wasn't. I'm just a regular human being that was, you know, I guess put in an environment where you either had to be a lion or a lamb. But I didn't get that choice to be the lamb. Like, you know, it was either you're going to be a lion or you're going to get eaten alive and you'll never see me again. So I had to make that choice, you know, either you're going to fight him or you're going to fight me. You got to find a way. There's no rules in fighting. You're going to fight that boy. I don't care how you do it, how you win, you got to get on him. So it took about 6 months to figure how I'm going to fight a guy 4 years older than me. You know, the last time I had a interaction with this person, we were at Boy Scouts. Now, Boy Scouts we called it, you know, that's the H word guys. They got money, the Eagle Scouts and all that. We didn't have no money come from our neighborhood. Come on, like we own government cheese. How are we gonna go spend money to be a Boy Scout? But they invited our neighborhood to, you know, donate their time, give us a chance. Man, it didn't go all so well. So a whole week I had to wear the same clothes for 5 days because the guy Duck beat me up and peed on all my clothes. in front of my whole neighborhood.
It takes time.
Never forget it. And so I was terrified of that guy.
But that's without it. I want to keep going, but I'm saying, but isn't that terror the bit that changes everything?
So yeah, it's either at that point you're gonna man
There's no
up.
turning around after that point.
You can't run.
Yeah, you know that you're scheming now. It's going to happen. Yeah. He doesn't know it, but it's going to happen.
Yeah, it took about some months, but I caught him drunk and got him. I got it. I won't say how, but I got it. So it's like after that, I became like more of a protector than a person of I'm just going to start things. I didn't start stuff with people, but I was sure became a finisher.
No, I think we're very similar. I'll tell you, share a story of mine too. I was a fat kid, right? I was just this fat kid growing up. But it's funny, the fat kid still stays in my mind for some reason. I don't know, the prick, but he's all right. He's all right, right? And it's funny that they say you can take the kid out of the ghetto, but you can't take the ghetto out of the kid. You know what I mean? Like, I can see it's still there inside you. That's how we are. But I remember this guy, and you said you remember that guy's name. So do I, Henry. His name was Henry, man.
Oh.
And he picked on me in my primary school, and he left, and I thought, oh fuck, he's gone. Thank God for that. I turned up at higher school, like obviously the next level of schooling, and there he is. He's a couple of years, about a year ahead of me, and he sees me and he starts kind of bullying me a little bit at the school. And I just said, and I'm very quiet in whatever I think about. I said, the only way I got to finish this guy, right? And I remember it was one afternoon, and we usually finish school and we got chips and scallops. We got the chips and scallops, with extra vinegar on there and salt, you know what I mean? And wrapped up in the paper, and you burnt your fingers when you went in there, like to get them out, right?
Yeah.
And I remember my mate was next to me, and I said, let's just say it was going to be a Friday. It was, but it didn't happen. It was perfect situation, didn't happen. And I was a bit down on myself that weekend. So Monday comes, and with my one mate who lives in my street, his name was Nick. So Henry, Nick, right? And I got my scallops, got my chips, typical after school thing. And I said to Nick, hold my chips. I said, hold my chips. And I just called out to him. I said, I said, Henry, you prick. Whatever I called him. He turned around like to beef up. And I just went straight into the jaw. It was down on his knees, still going. Like this guy, he's going to be a rug. So I just, and then that was it. I was never touched again. And then from that point, I realized the moment I sniffed a bully was just smack him in the jaw. Like as soon as I gave him 24 hours, if they didn't change their ways, then like yourself, I just had to finish it. Because I just knew, look, 24 hours is too long now. This guy's going to try me 48 a week. And with my son, I got a son. He just, he's 19. He just did a Muay Thai fight on 2 weeks ago. I wasn't allowed to go watch it. Like, he's like me. Don't come and watch me. I've got a job to do. And it was in the ring. It was a proper everything right. But I remember once he got into a fight. And I knew he doesn't like fighting, but he had to fight. And I just said to him, did you finish it? He goes, I finished it. I go, that's all right. Let's move on now. We don't need to talk about it again.
Well, that is a motto just for any athlete.
Yeah.
If you start in this game, you got to finish it. I took that approach. I took that aggression. I took, did I fall along the way? Sure. Even into my 50s, make mistakes. Sure. Yeah. I had to pay for there's no getting away.
No.
This country, this world is made to catch you if you do a certain thing a certain way. You're gonna go. Either you're gonna go to the cage and you have to deal with it in there, or you're gonna go to that dirt 6 feet deep.
Yeah.
You're not gonna survive too long. There's nobody that gets away forever. At some point, you got the fork meets the road. At some point. And that's one of the drives. I had drive. I didn't have no quit. I wasn't. In my neighborhood, it's about respect. And if you're gonna take the respect, sure, you're gonna give it to take it. And that's that environment and that drive. I took into the gym. I started lifting weights after I got duck. I started to hit those weights, and my mother got me, the concrete weights. So,
Oh, yes.
they were cheap as hell. I dropped them in the first week and they broke. And I'm like, the concrete, whoever made that is a dummy. They made the concrete and wrapped it in plastic. You drop it, it's done. It's cracking. No, you drop that, it's cracking. And there's no getting it back. So my mom, after she bought that new set, I'm not getting it anymore. So that's when I really started to, hear about, people in prison coming out, huge, like Superman.
I was watching that. You thought you had to go to prison to get jacked at one stage, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. It went on purpose.
Tell us more. Tell us more.
Went on purpose. So, it's like in the neighborhood, you see guys come home. They say, they tell me, they touch down. So when they say,
that's another way to get a gym membership. But let's hear it, mate.
Yeah, they say you go in there, it's free, and at the time there are weights. So, I was like, again, I wasn't able to talk about a lot of this stuff, coming through the ranks because it would have been shunned and not looked upon very likely. Nowadays people don't care. Yeah, you've been in jail. So what? Everybody been in jail for something. Yeah. So nobody cares. Yeah. But when I was coming through, it was the prestige of the IFBB, the NPC, the other, leagues. You can't talk about stuff like that. Yeah. But I went in there before I was 18. My first run in, I was a juvenile. I went to juvenile hall for fighting, beating up another bully. And I went to juvenile hall, and that's when I ran into my first bodybuilder. Well, actually, let me take it back. My second bodybuilder. Yep. First bodybuilder I ran into, he was a person that trained, like no other. And his name was Jerry Ports. Mm-hmm. I called him Pops. He was the first person that ever had real weights, like, the easy bar curl. He had the universal set up in his garage, and, his sons, I used to work out with his sons. And then I got my second, interaction with a bodybuilder. His name was Stephen James. Rest in peace. He's passed away a few years back. But he took me to the first real gym, which was Spectrum Gym, owned by Ted Williamson and his mother back in the day in Riverside. So that gym, when I got in there, I seen all these guys that were huge, I'm like, man, that white boy big. Yeah, you can't say that. So that's when they started learning how to talk. You can't say that. I ain't calling him cracking. You can't say that either. You can't white boy this, that. It's a man. Okay. So I ran into this. I saw him train. When I got in trouble, I see him walking around with the keys and everything. I go, man, that's that dude from the gym. That's that guy, Troy, but you couldn't call him that. His name was Troy Zucalato. Mm-hmm. So Troy Zucalato, Mr. California, that guy, and I have a video of him. I seen him years later. He told me, you got a good physique on you, man. And why he pulled me to the side, which is a no. He pulled me to the side by myself, secluded. And why are you talking to these guys? Why are you hanging around those guys, those little bloods? What you hang around them for, those guys are going to be either in jail or dead. And that's going to be your journey if you don't turn it around. I see you doing your homework. You're not stupid because, like I said, grew up in church. I'm not a dummy, but I played like I was dumb. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I let people talk about me that way. But I was a fighter. So, it's like, you're getting in trouble, you're going to the hole. And as I'm going to the hole, he's telling me, just, keep lifting weights. You want to be like me? Because I was like, I was really taken by his size. Troy Zucalato was huge, big legs, big arms, big chest. He had everything, And I was like, I want to be like that. Because at the time I was looking at, Iron Man magazine. I was looking at, the Muscle and Fitness. I was looking at all these magazines and seeing these guys like Samir Bannout, Robbie Robinson, Our Beckles, Serge Nabray, one of my favorites of all time, Sergio Oliva, the Myth. And that guy, that was the hope. That was, and then seeing Lou Ferrigno in there is like, what? That's the hope. That's the guy on TV, and seeing that and then having a guy that looked like that. To me, my first hope was Troy Zucalato. Yeah, Stephen James, he was big, but he didn't look like Troy, and having that guy give me an accolade made me kind of think, okay, well, how do I weigh out lifting weights, doing my homework, and still being down with the homies? Because he's like, you don't need to hang around there. I'm like, fool, you're not from my neighborhood. You don't have to go back to my neighborhood. If I don't get out in here, they're gonna get me out there. So guess what? I'm fighting. I don't care what you're talking about. I'll do my homework, but I'm fighting if I have to. I'm going to get in there if I got to. I'm going to live my ways, whatever, but I'm going to get in there with my friends because he didn't have to go back to where I could have chose not to, but it was easier to just do like the Romans did. So that's what I did.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
Yeah. So, running in that neighborhood is what I went through. So, you got to do what you got to do.
Hey guys, Steve here. You know how much I love food. Food is very important to me. I'm an advocate for good food, good quality food, well-priced, well-valued food. And this is it. Macro Foods. I've searched long and hard and I found it. It took a while, but I finally found the best. Macro Foods, ready-made meals that actually hit your macros. Tasty, high-protein meals designed to fuel your goals without the prep time. Head to Macro Foods, that's with a Z, macrofoods.com.au and use code MTP10 for 10% off your order. I'm serious, guys. I only seek the best, eat the best, and promote the best. Macro Foods, macrofoods.com.au. Go now. Use code MTP10 for 10% off all your orders. Hey guys, Nutrition Warehouse, not your average supplement store. If you're serious about lifting, this is the place. With over 120 stores across Australia and New Zealand, and founded by former Mr. World Grant Mayo, Nutrition Warehouse is built for lifters who mean business. Shop in store or online at nutritionwarehouse.com.au. And while you're there, grab a cheeky 50% off at checkout. Use code Muscle Talks. That's Muscle Talks either online or in store. Hey guys, how important is hydration? How important is water? Alka Power, Australia's #1 alkaline water, trusted for its high pH and ultra hydrating benefits. Whether you're training, recovering, or just staying sharp, Alka Power helps keep your body in balance, hydrated. Find it in major supermarkets, health food stores, and selected petrol stations across Australia. Australia's #1 alkaline water. So important, alkaline water. I can't stress it enough. High in pH, ultra hydrating. Australia's #1 alkaline, comes in various sizes. And if you'd like to learn more, go to alkapower.com.au. I know that, I think some of my best years, and still my best years, are flying under the radar. I think sometimes you just got to, like, I remember once, I don't know if I was I think I was smart, but not the smartest guy. I tried very hard to get 50%. But what I'm getting at is sometimes we'd be going places and you'd be hearing people talk like we were dummies or like we were losers or not even losers, just something like, let's go fuck this up. And in my head, I'd say, I just laugh to allow the group to be part of that laughter. But inside my head, I said, I'm fucking going to lose here. I'm going to win. You guys are just watching. And the thing is, sometimes you just got to fucking be in the mix, but know where you're going, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Because
I didn't know where I was going. And, I was one of those kids that would ask a question like in math class, you talk about, even to this day, I don't get algebra. I find no significance whatsoever. Well, I call it algebra. I don't care nothing about no algebra. So, listening to the teachers talk, fractions make sense to me. Division makes sense to me. Multiplication, addition, subtraction, that makes sense to me. Yeah. Calculations make sense to me. When you tell me a to the second power gets you 9ye,
what the fuck's that?
What is that?
Numbers tell us all. Numbers are the thing.
Yeah. So when a teacher tells me, and I'll never forget this lady. I should put her on blast, but I'm not gonna. To tell me, if you have any questions, you can ask me after class. That's when my mother spirit kicks in. First of all, I have the question now. You get paid to answer these questions. Now, I'm sorry if you think this is a hard question to answer, but I don't think I'm the only one that has this question. I don't know how A goes to the second power and why is it that number? And if you can't explain to me, then why are you teaching? Oh, she didn't like that. Oh, I was raised by females. So I had 2 older sisters and a mama. I'm the middle child. So I got that fight. I got that quick comeback. You don't want to argue with me. You know, it became so crazy ingrained in my soul that I was, you know, it was funny that I was told, or I've heard over the years, man, when you go to the Mr. Olympia, you go to a press conference, do not mess with Melvin.
Well,
if you're gonna talk some shit, don't do it to Melvin because he's gonna get you.
I was just watching some of your stuff, like, and I have a lot of questions, but I want to ask, so is it true that at 14 you were using your own body weight to kind of bodybuild initially? Like, is that what you were doing? Is it basically using push-ups, dips,
Yes.
chin-ups? Is that what you were doing?
That's what I was doing. So I was told by a guy who did a 15-year prison sentence. And he's like, he had 22-inch arms.
Whoa.
He was able to put a football next to his arm and you couldn't really see the football. You put it like that, you couldn't see it. So I was like, I want arms like that because I wanted to be Superman. I loved Marvel comics. I'm with Jim Mannion's son, JM. It's like, bro, he goes, the Marvel comics is every comic person had muscle, male or female, had muscle, flash, muscle.
A lot of you say that. Even Lee Priest is the same. Love Marvel, like you guys.
A lot of Marvel,
because that's what. A lot of Superman, a lot of He-Man, a lot of heroes.
Yeah, He-Man, all that. I was into that. And Lee is a great friend of mine. Coming up the ranks. But back to your question, the push-ups. I was able to do 500 push-ups and sets of 20. Do that one day, and you do curls on the bar. My mom had a clothesline where she hung her clothes and the two metal pipes. I would jump on the ends and I do my pull-ups. I do my pull-ups for my back. So I do chest and back. I do a push and a pull, and then the next day I would do squats, 500 squats. 500 calf raises off the porch. Off the concrete. So I was doing them in different areas. I do 20 close, 20 medium, 20 wide, 20 close, 20 medium, 20 wide. And I would keep doing that till I got to 500. And so by the age almost 15, I told myself I want to have 14-inch arms, and every year I want to have an inch, with my age. And so I started to do that 14 and 15, 13 and 14. It was like right before I turned 14 to the time I was 15, I had 15 and a half inch arms. So then my cousin, who I didn't know was my cousin at the time, his name was Todd. It was Todd. So he was training over at Jack LaLanne's. Now I'm giving away my age. Jack LaLanne's was the real 24-hour fitness. Yeah. So Jack LaLanne's turned into Family Fitness. Yep. Then Family Fitness sold and turned into 24-hour fitness. Most people don't know that. So I started Jack LaLanne's. Walking to the gym, he goes, just follow me around, do what I do. He's like, he asked me at first, what you doing for training, man? You got a good physique. That's the third time I heard it. And I was like, you got little waist, big shoulders, lift the arms, He said, man, well, what's your training, regimen? And I was like, push-ups. And he starts laughing at me. He's like, somehow, push-ups. I do push-ups. I do pull-ups. I do wide pull-ups. I do close pull-ups. I do squats. I do this. He said, well, no, but I want to know in the gym. I go, this is not first time in the gym.
Wow.
Like I had, got some, teachings from Mr. Port. So I got a little teaching from, Stevie J, but the real, like full on workout, do this, shoulders, this. I didn't get that regimen until I met my cousin. Yeah. So he just said, just do what I do. He goes, I can't believe you got all that from doing calisthenics. I'm like, man, you a specimen, bro. You're gonna be a pro. I didn't even know what a pro was. I'm like, man, shoot, is it gonna have some money behind it?
Yeah.
So, people get into the sport for different reasons. I got into it for the money.
Oh, look, I think the only hobby I do, man, is ride my motorcycles and drive my cars. Other than that, everything should just pay me. I don't know about that. Like I just said, hobbies are hobbies. Drinking a black coffee is a hobby for me, man. Even though I do have a coffee company, by the way. That's the other thing. I do have my own coffee company. But but also, didn't you get a scholarship at 18? You were also became like I said, was it a football scholarship?
Yeah, it's funny. Like I said, I tell the real story. A lot of the stuff that's in the magazine. If you go back and read things about me in the Flex magazine, and you go back and people that are going to be listening to this podcast, as they go back and see those old magazines, the Flex, the Muscle and Fitness and Ironman, I grew up in a rough neighborhood.
Yeah.
But if you were to read between the lines of what I was saying, growing up in that neighborhood, there's a lot of torment. You pick that side, you're gonna go to jail.
Yeah.
You pick this side, you're gonna be a football player. And I didn't have the grades.
Yeah.
I was smoking too much weed in high school. I was smoking weed before that was legal. I'm smoking that weed. I was in the cannabis game. You know, I'm at school, you know, hustling and you know, moving joints all over the place. You know. So that being said, you know, it was funny because growing up that way, you have to make choices. And so I was making those choices. Like I said, you know, I went the first time I ever went to the cage, I wasn't even 18 yet. So just imagine, you know, somebody that's supposed to go to youth authority for teenagers who sent me and made it. I was so bad. It was like, oh yeah, we're gonna make an example out of you, which I didn't know what the judge meant. He said prison. Yeah. Send me that. So it was like, okay, he's gonna learn, you know, he's gonna learn. Okay, I'm gonna learn, but I learned all the wrong things, you know. But in there, I did get some, you know, paying your debt to society. You have to make choices while you're there. So I took some of those good attributes that I got ingrained in me from my cousin, from Mr. Porras, from Troy Zucolato, from these guys, and it's like, you know what, they don't realize what type of impact they had on my life. Even John Brown, I don't think he realized the impact he had on my life, because even in the bad choices, I heard Troy's voice. In there, you got to run with, there's no more. It becomes a racial thing in there. Even I had friends that were I ran with in the street in Riverside, couldn't even talk to those because he was white. Couldn't talk to my friends from Riverside that were Mexican because they don't do that. If you're going there, you running, blacks run with the blacks, whites run with the whites. The Chinese run with either one. They run with the blacks or the Hispanics. So there's no mingling. So you're isolated. But that voice still was in my head. You're smart. You know, you're smart. You don't have to be like them. So being in that environment for those years, it's like, you know what? I'm gonna get my GED. So I got my GED in there. That's a positive thing, which helped me get credits to come out earlier. So going in before you're 18 and coming out when you're 21, I had to make a choice. It's like, bro, what are you gonna do with your life? Like, I can't just keep, you know, going in and going out, coming in and going out. You know, you hustling with crack and going in and coming out. You can't keep doing that. Something's got to break, because I was watching my friends get stabbed. I was watching, you know, coming home to, you know, 3 or 4 of my friends getting shot and dying. You know, so you got to make this. When does the fork hit the road, right? Or I hit the road in my 50s because I kept chasing that money. You see, it's hard to unlearn the hustle game.
But I think
it's hard.
It's hard. But I think you said something like, you always had faith. I think because that was distilled in you, because sometimes we know we're bad. Don't worry. We know we're watched, but sometimes you just got to go with it. Does that make sense? It
does. It does, because people think that, oh, you know, church, this and that, right and wrong. Well, you know why people do bad things? Because it don't feel bad.
Yeah.
You know, when you talk about, you know, oh, you read the Bible, you know, no sex. Does sex hurt? Or does it feel good? You know what I'm talking about? Does that intimate moment of euphoria, does that feel bad? Does it hurt? Does it sting? Nah, man, it feels good. So the devil ain't gonna give you something that's gonna taste nasty. It's gonna taste like honey. But if you eat enough honey, you will throw up. So I had to learn that in that cage. I started to pick up football. Started playing, you know, pickup games they were putting pads with telephone books. We were playing tackle football with telephone books on us. Yes, sir. We didn't have no helmets. We were just out there balling, gladiator school. You know, and if you wanted to fight after you got your ass kicked, then we'd do that. But at the end of the day, I started to pick up the hints of people that had played football already. You know, I had a friend named Darren Stokes, you know, and he's a great friend now. He was a football player, you know, and he played for Morris High School, San Diego, and he was a baller. I learned how to play from him. So I was like, you know, when I get out, I got my GED, I'm gonna go to college. All my friends and my homeboys thought, you crazy, man. There was only 1 or 2 friends. One, his name was Wolf, and he was from Piru Street. And then there was another guy, his name was Hippo. You know? And Hippo was like, you know what? He's like, well, if you make it, the neighborhood make it. You go out there and play that football. Don't you bring your ass back in here. Come back in here, you're going to deal with me. I kept getting in trouble on and off, but I took that, that admiration, I guess, of him. And I said, I'm gonna try it. He goes, it don't matter if you got a house or not, I ain't got nowhere to go. I got out, my mom wasn't speaking to me. Everybody looked at me like I'm coming out like, the thug of the nation, I went straight to school, not realizing that page helped me get a ball grant, a Fed grant, a California loan. I was able to get my own, apartment. And this is while I was on, paper. So I didn't have a car. I walked to school, and I walked up to the coach and said I wanted to play. He was like, "Have you had any experience?" I was like, "Nah, I played a little flag football." He said, "Well, how fast are you?" I was like, "I don't know." I knew I'd never been caught on foot from the police, so I knew I used to take off on purpose on the side. I was fast. I knew I was fast. I just didn't know how fast. So the guy was like, "Okay, go out there, get your pads and get all set up, and then we'll take you out and we'll run you." And I'm thinking, okay, well, this can't be no harder than gangbanging.
Yeah.
So I went out there, and one of my friends, who's Jerry Porce's son, he was there, and he's like, "Man, what's up? Come on, blood, you better put this on this way." I put my jock strap on backwards. I put my nut cup on this way. I didn't even put it to cover my balls. I had it this way. Everybody's laughing. I didn't know anything. So we got out there, we running drills. So they had two coaches, right? Two coaches. One was at the 20-yard line. The other one was at the 40-yard line. So he said, when I blow the whistle, run as hard as you can, past the coach. And I'm thinking I'm in my mind, like running from the cops. I had my little cleats on.
Little did that know you already had training.
I had no idea. He blows the whistle, and I run by him. First coach stops to watch. Coach stops to watch. They look at the watch. They say something. He goes, "Hey, Anthony, can you do that again?" So in my mind, I'm not going to make the team. Oh, because they're talking. And in my neighborhood, we think bad first, the worst first. They about to kick me off the team right now. I ain't made it yet. So he's like, "Can you run that one more time?" I'm thinking, oh my God, if I don't run fast enough, I'm not gonna make the team, right? So he goes, "Man, Mel, Anthony, how much do you weigh right now?" I said, "How much did the coach tell you weighed?" I was like 230, right? And I'm fresh out of the cage, right? I'm 230 pounds, homeless, by the way. And he's like, "All right," blows the whistle. I run past first coach, run past second coach. Second coach looks at me, calls another coach, and I'm like, "Oh my God." Oh my God. Now it's three coaches over here talking. They about to embarrass me. And I almost honestly just walked off.
Oh wow.
People said, F it, fuck it. I'm gone. Excuse my friend.
Yeah, no, it's not good for your life.
So he goes, Anthony, "Can you run it one more time?" And I was like, oh my God, if I don't run as hard as I can, this is gonna be the moment. We don't need you. So now you got three coaches, two with stopwatches. Before I ran, they called the head coach. They called Smedley. So I'm like, this is it. After I run this crap, they're gonna tell me it's over with, right? So he blows whistle, bam, I take off running. And I dug my feet into the grass before he blew that whistle. I dug my feet into the grass. He blows that whistle, run past the first coach, 20-yard line, run past the second coach, 40-yard line. Boom. All the coaches get in the huddle, and they're showing them this watch. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm slow as a turtle. I'm screwed. It's over. I started walking away, taking my, my pads to turn them back in. Anthony, where you going? They're going to the locker room. He goes, "Oh, come here for a second." I'm thinking, here it is. They're going to come. I didn't want to go. I walked as slow as I could. They're going to tell me that I'm done. I walked up. They got a circle. They got the head coach, the running back coach, the DB coach, the linebacker coach. Right? Yeah. He shows me the time. I don't know what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
2.1. 20-yard. Yeah. The other guy shows me the watch. 4.46. So I ran 40 yards in 4.46 seconds at 230 pounds. Wow. I still didn't know what that meant. I was I said, "Thanks for, letting me try out." He goes, "What are you talking about?" He goes, You have played no positions?" I said, "I played flag football." "Where'd you play?" "Running back." He goes, "Well, can you start on special teams?" I didn't even know what that was. I said, "I'll do anything if I made the team." He goes, "Oh, you definitely made the team." Wow. Now I walk away, and all the coaches are arguing about who was going to get me. They're arguing.
That's probably the best part. You're happy they're arguing. That tells you the ghetto's good. They're arguing.
Good. It's good. So I get in there, and I start off kickoffs, which means wherever the ball get landed, I hit whoever has the ball. They just call me a rover. A rover means you don't have to set up in the running stance. You just, when they kick the ball, You know, Julio was like, wherever I kick it, just follow the ball, bro. Whoever gets it, knock the shit out of it. I was like, okay. So I put my pads on. I'm like, this is like gangbang. I mean, this is like fighting
This is fight for
with
free.
armor.
This
I'm
is
like,
fighting
so
and not getting arrested.
exactly. I'm telling my boy D-Day, his name David Force. I said, D-Day. I was like, man, I ain't gonna get no trouble for knocking this fool out. He's like, man, knock his block off. I was like, for real? I ain't gonna get no trouble. He said, man, I ain't getting no trouble. So he's like, okay, come on. He can line us up. So I got all these guys lined up.
Jesus
This
Christ.
is my first day of practice. Kicks the ball off, kicks a high one.
Yeah.
I run. Now I'm not noticing that I'm supposed to, you know, run through blocks, shed blocks, swim moves. They run down, they form this 4-man barricade. The guy behind's waiting for the ball. I'm paying attention to the ball. I hit an offensive lineman and a linebacker, knocked them both on their ass. Boom. I run through him, catch the ball. He catches the ball. I hit him so hard, spun his helmet. Spun his helmet. And now I'm thinking they're gonna kick me off for hitting this dude too hard because he's busy, right? So I'm looking at this dude like, you know, they're gonna kick me off for hitting this. I don't know the game like that. So everybody starts clapping. Oh my God, yeah! You know, they're getting all fired up. I'm thinking, shit, they're clowning because I'm about to get kicked off. Coach goes, can you do that every play? I was like, I ain't in no trouble. He's like, hell no. Can you do that every play? I was like, yeah, I can do that. He goes, you're starting special teams.
Oh, Jesus. It's hilarious, man, because firstly, little did we know that the ghetto and lockup was training you for that moment. But also, most people would have seen the talking, the delay that you're in. Because you get a quick no, but you're like thinking the total opposite and you're wondering. And like I said, but I mean, it just goes to show you doing, which sounds cliche, doing the time of, but see, the thing is, Melvin, what I've realized listening to you, I don't think you had choices sometimes. And I think you said something about the word honey. Sometimes we like the honey, but the aftertaste is fucked sometimes. And that gets us on our own. You know, when you're on your own and you go, how do I? And even today with the temptations on everything out there at the moment is, unless you can think ahead of time, you're going to dive into the temptations. You got to know the no today is your reward tomorrow. It's a challenge even our day today.
Yeah, I tell kids that I talk to at the schools, and I do a lot of public speaking now. I even go to, you know, prison camps, they call it pack meetings, and do, you know, public speaking. Well, you know, you got to weigh out the pros and cons. If I do this, what can happen? Because one or two things are going to happen. You're going to get shot, killed, or you're going to go to jail for 20 years, or you might get off and get a little probation, but that's a setup. See, people don't realize that the probation at first, the home arrest, house arrest, the halfway house, those are all a setup. You know what I mean? For a kid that my age, going through that at a young age, I didn't give a damn. I wanted to go in there because I knew I was going to come out with 20-inch arms, which I did. I came out at 18, right before I turned 21 with 21.5-inch arms. Still had that tiny waist, big shoulders. You know, I didn't realize I had that bodybuilder look already, but I took that to the football field and I used it. Free school, we got a place to stay, food in my mouth, you know, little part-time janky job. And I was taking 21 units. The average of 12. I was taking 21 units and summer school just to graduate in time so that if I got called to go to get a scholarship, because that was my goal, to get a scholarship and play pro football. And, you know, I had Miami after me. I had Mexico after me. Eastern Mexico I had after me. I had, was it Texas A&M or University of Texas was after me, then Cal State Fullerton. So, you know, I still was learning the process. I still was learning on the field. If somebody hits you, because, you know, they'll hit you from behind or they'll push you up, do a high-low, or a guy hits you high, a guy hits you low, I would get up and start fighting. Like, you know, that's disrespect. So I had to learn that's 15 yards. I paid, you know, I cost the team a lot of yards because I take off on a offensive lineman so fast. I'd be on them like, no, Anthony, it's not a fight. It's 15 yards. And I have a seat. So I had to learn to bring down my temper. Right? Bring down that temper because it's a game. It's not life. But I was bringing life situations and habits to the football field. to the track field. You know, I ran football, I played football, and I ran track.
Well, initially the coaches loved it. That's what got you there. If you didn't
Oh,
do
yeah.
that, you wouldn't have been there. Just tell me a little bit about. I mean, like I said, I had John Brown. When does his podcast launch, Chris? This week. John Brown's podcast goes up this Wednesday, which is your Tuesday. So look out for it.
I will.
I said to John Brown, and he's got $1 million smile, and he looks amazing. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Right. He when I told him, we haven't finished this podcast yet, but I told him it was one of my favorites. I said to Chris, it was one of my favorite podcasts. I really felt I understood what you guys were all talking about with this guy. It's just he's kind of like the real deal. Even when he tells you it's not good, it sounds good. Like the way he talks, the way he demonstrates. You know what I mean?
He has a way he had a way of explanation.
Yeah.
When I came through, you know,
Tell me a bit about him. I want to know. Tell me a bit about him, please.
Sean Ray didn't take it too kindly, you know, that he was about to train me. And, you know, Sean was one of his favorites. You know, Sean was one of his first, you know, guys he trained. Like, he really brought through the ranks and brought him to another level. But he came from Diamond Bar, which I would consider on the same wavelength as Honky Hills. They had money, you know what I mean? They had money over there. So, you know, he grew up a little different. Well, I grew up scratching dirt. I grew up with the hustle. I grew up like John Brown grew up. John Brown grew up from Compton.
That's
so,
right.
You know, from Compton, California, and where I was from, I had Riverside half the year, and then in the summertime, I was in the projects in the Nixon Gardens on Imperial and Central, which is like the Watts Towers and all that, where burned up everything. That's where I was in the summer. So I picked up a lot of good things, how to be a dude and how to be a stand-up guy, and a lot of bad things.
Yeah.
And, you know, when I met John began to show me and began to prune my flower. Yeah. Does that make sense? He began to cut the leaves off. You can't hang out with them Negroes. You can't be over there with them Bloods. You can't hang around them little gangster Vietnamese. You can't, certain things you gotta, if you want this, what I got, you got to cut that. So that was my induction into bodybuilding. Yep. I met John Brown, and he was a no nonsense kind of dude, but I understood that. For me, we equate John Brown as being an OG, an original gangster, top dog, like American gangster. He was that guy. And so I wanted to be like John because I seen John in the magazines. So it's like, you know, I knew who he was, but I'm like, you know, I told the guy to introduce me to him. If you don't introduce me to John, I'm gonna beat you up because you're lying. I don't take kind of lying, you know. And the guy Donnie, his name was Donnie Madison. He's like, I'm gonna take you over there, bro. When he gets back from Europe, I'm like, man, you don't know no Miss Universe John Brown, man. You full of crap, bro. For months, he kept saying I kept on lifting weights because he came up to me and said, man, you got a great physique, man. Go and get out of here. Where you bodybuilding? You doing a show? And I go, doing a show. No, I'm a football player. I play for Cal State Fullerton. I'm running back for, you know, Cal State Fullerton because that's where I decided to go. Yeah. And so when I finally got in front of John is a no-nonsense guy. He spoke very well. He spoke 2 different languages, you know, and I just seen some things with him that I could not believe. Yeah. I've never in my life, even to this day, watched the guy eat food and grow in my face. Yeah. Literally, his arms grew. The veins started. I'm telling you what I saw. I'm like, you ever seen that movie Scanners? No. You never seen the movie Scanners? Okay, with Scanners was a guy. These guys have this telepathy. They could read your mind and make you do things by looking at you. Yeah. And when they had the scanners, the veins would pop up, and you'd see these veins going across their foreheads. And eyes would pop going back of their head while they're making you kill yourself. Oh God! I watched John Brown's arms do that. And that was a movie, make believe. But I saw it with my own eyes, and I'm like, he's eating spaghetti. Yeah. And I'm looking at his arms. I'm looking at the veins. I'm going. He's like, what's staring at, man? Man, your arms, bro. Man, it's just running carbohydrates. You know, you eat carbs. You know, I didn't know what the heck carbohydrates was. He's eating his pasta. He eats spaghetti on a diet. Yeah. He drank Kool-Aid on a diet. I never saw nothing like that.
Do you know what his prep food was?
Yeah,
hot dogs. He had hot dogs, man.
Hot dogs. He's the one that had me eating Hamburger Helper in the off season. He said eating dirty. I would eat Hamburger Helper with pinto beans in a can. You know, this poor man's diet, and I would eat that to get big.
You know what I reckon it was? I kind of worked it out. People are fucking soft. You know what it is? They go to the gym soft, so they have to eat soft. But John Brown knew that the gym was the stadium, the Coliseum. So even whatever he did on the outside, that Coliseum would fix him. He was in there and he just made you work.
And he had a great eye. He taught me how to have an eye.
Oh, yeah.
He taught me how to assess a body in seconds.
Wow.
I could look, if dude took his shirt off and I looked, I could do a scan of his body and know it by heart.
Wow.
In seconds. Yeah. Because he said, when and if you get a call out with that guy, you better know how to expose his flaws. Because you got to know what you got. In order to be able to beat another competitor, you have to be able to know what you have to expose what they don't have. And you have to do it with professionalism. Wow. John showed me how to do that, and I became a master at it. Yeah. I could see guys in their clothes and know if he was in shape or not without even taking the shirt off. I always was a competitor that looked very tiny in my clothes until I put the shirt and pants on. It's like, oh shit, too late. The show is here. Social media messed that up for a lot of people. There was no prepping for me. By the time I got to the show, it's too late. Yeah, 100%. 27.5-inch waist, 31-inch quadriceps, almost 17 3/4 calves. I had 18-inch forearms. I had a 56.5-inch chest, 23.5-inch arms. I was not playing. Yeah. So by the time I got to the shows, they're like, oh man, he's a pro already. They would talk about John, telling he was cheating. My first show did a natural. Was my second show. I was a natural show. And they were Jim Quinn. Do you remember who that is?
Sounds familiar, the name.
He's a pro. He ran to the judges and was telling them he's a pro. He can't compete. That's cheating. He did the Mr. Universe. I didn't know what the hell he was talking about.
Oh, wow.
The universe where? I ain't never been out the country. What is you talking about? He did it in London. He's with John Brown. That's one of John's. He's cheating. I'm like, okay. Well, John, my first introduction into lifting weights, he was able to tell Sean Ray at the time. He's like, man, he's too hard around the edges. I don't know, man. He's kind of cocky. He doesn't know I know this, but yeah, I told him later. Sean, I know you said that's cool. He didn't know me. He's like, I know how to deal with him. Don't worry about it. So John in the gym, he made it like it was gangbanging. Yeah. Them weights was your enemy.
Yeah, that's right.
And if you don't lift them weights, he said, if you stop listening and not doing the reps, not doing the workouts, I'm done with you.
Yeah, I know.
If you become a bully in the gym, I will never help you again. Yeah. He says, you're going to be a professional or stay away from me. He said, if you quit, that's your last day. Wow. That was my build up to my first session with this guy.
I know.
You know what my first session with him was? Back and legs. He says, I'm going to touch you.
2 big body parts, man.
Yes, back and legs. Ugh. In the same workout. I did that workout for like 3 years.
Who does that?
He said, I don't care. He goes, you got to do what they want. You got to do what they want. Yeah. You got to do what they can't. Yeah. You have to be that guy. Yeah. And so when I got to the gym, he's like, yeah, how much you doing leg extensions? And at the time I was like, I can do the whole stack. How many reps? And it was 285, the stack on the list and all that's 285. I say, maybe 20, 3-4 sets of 20. He says, okay, good. He says, now I'm gonna give you the rules. I don't care how you stretch. I don't care how you move around on this seat. You don't get out this damn seat until you dump these reps. He says, if your feet touch the ground, you start over. If your foot, anything on your body touches that ground, you start from zero. But I'm thinking to myself, yeah, whatever. He's not being serious. So then he takes the pen and puts it at the bottom of the stack and says, give me 100. Now, the number alone has run hundreds of guys away from the gym before even starting.
I've heard the hundreds, yes.
But if he looked at me and said, where you from? And I'm looking at him, I'm from Bonnie. You know what I mean? So I would tell the face to his face, I'm from Bonnie. He said, well, show me then. Do it for them. Yeah. He said, your mama, if she was here, you'll do it. So do them 100 reps. I don't care how long it takes. You do it. So in my mind, that's a fight. So in a fight, you don't quit. You don't punk out. You don't run away. You face it head on. So I began to go. And I got like the first 20-something, like 30 reps or something. And then that lactic acid, bam, hit my thighs. Yeah. And this is after doing back. So I did back first. 5 sets, 20 reps each, lat pull down, supersetting with seated cable rows. 5 sets, 20, back and forth. And your rest was getting up from that seat and walking around to the lat pull down. That's your rest. 20, bam, bam, bam. You get up and walk around. Man, and I was doing that with 200 pounds to start. 200-pound pull downs, 200-pound seated row, right? The seated cable rows. Back and forth for 5 sets. Then from there to the T-bar row, he put a bar in the corner. He stacks a bunch of weights on there, 3 plates, I think, at the time. He said, give me 20 reps. I did 20 reps. I'm getting tired now. He's like, where you from? Kept saying it over and over. I know where I'm from. He said, you better not quit. Kept on going. Now I'm doing supersetting T-bars with the 80-pound dumbbells with no straps. There's no straps here. 3 plates, 80 pound, 20, 20, 15, 20, 20. Then he said 20. He goes up to 4 plates and said, give me 30 reps and went to a 100-pound dumbbell. 20 reps back and forth. Did that for 3 sets. The last set, he went to 5 plates and said, give me 40. 40? How am I going to do that? He said, it doesn't matter. Keep doing it. And he wouldn't let me stand all the way up. You stay bent over until you get those 40. So I got those 40 reps. I finished that. He went from there to barbell bent over rows, straight sets, 12 to 15. And then I went to this leg extension. And then he gave me that story to build that. That was my rest. I got a 3-minute rest. I started going. Bam, 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 bam. And at the time, 78, I caught a cramp in my hamstring because I'm doing leg extensions. Right? Did the 100. Then I had to do a lying leg curls for 180, 10 reps, 170 for 5, 165 for 5, all the way up to 20 pounds. So that's like 68 reps. So that's 168 reps. So my second set, I remember this like it was yesterday. It was like 78 reps. And I caught a cramp in my hamstring. So all I did was just kind of like lean back and stretch my leg out. But when I stretched my leg out, my toe scraped the ground. And John said, you think I was playing with you, boy? He said, start over. And I'm thinking he's not going to make me start over. I'm at rep 78. It's not going to make me start over. So when I started to do 79, 80, he went 1, 2, oh, God. And I stopped. He said, keep going. And I'm looking around for this lady, like somebody need to help me because this sucker crazy.
This guy's a nutcase.
Like, yeah, I need some help. Now, mind you, the blood it's left my back. It's still pumped, and I'm so burning in my quads. I'm thinking I'm about to, like, they're gonna rip apart, like my knee's gonna break. He said, right here. Do the math in your head. It's right here. Keep going. Neighborhood watching. Your mama watching. Bam, bam. I went crazy. I did 178 reps with 280 pounds.
He said something that you'll hear on the podcast. He reckons bodybuilders today don't bodybuild. That's his words. He goes, bodybuilders today, he goes, they don't lift weights. They've got enough technology to do whatever they need to do to bring what they need to bring. He goes, he just says the sport isn't, they don't need to touch the, like, it's like they don't even need to touch the weights anymore. It just doesn't equate.
They're afraid to go to that wall. And me, and even at my age of 55, I've sent some guys to the bucket.
Yeah.
I have back problems, I've had a couple of cortisol shots in my back from just doing stupid stuff in the gym, and I still bury guys in the gym.
I see it with you, with a lot of you bodybuilders, Lee Priest as well, because he's in Australia. I've trained with him or watched him with people. We're doing a few things with him, but the thing is, every bodybuilder, but this keeps ringing in my head, and I want to bring it up with you. What happened to the charisma? You guys, like, I was just watching a podcast with Chris Cormier. I think it's called Discord. And
yeah, Muscle Discord.
But for the first, like, even now, like, look at the conversation we're having. Could you see Derek or Nick Walker talking like this right now? They're great bodybuilders. What I'm saying is, but it's kind of like straighty 180. You guys are like, these are fucking movie stories. We're talking about the prisons, the Bronx, the fucking. Yeah. I mean, no one has what do you call it on your fingers?
Mhm.
What do you call them?
Calluses.
Yeah, what happened to calluses? No one's got calluses today.
We got them.
Yeah. I'm saying is, me and
We don't
you,
use gloves.
these are inbuilt calluses.
Yeah, we
Today,
don't use
no one's
gloves.
got. No one's got. Remember peeling them? Remember you fucking every few weeks
Ripping it off.
ripping them
Yep.
off.
Yep. John would say, "Go put a Band-Aid on and keep going."
No one's.
When I showed up with gloves, he threw them in the trash.
Yeah, but
when
I'm
I showed up,
saying
when the hair and bonds came out with the first rip wraps, I was like, "That's the coolest thing ever." Now I can hold the bar.
Yeah.
He saw me using those and threw them in the trash.
And the thing is, calluses, but also a few bodybuilders, which I've changed my training at the moment. And what I found was the reason you guys, and they keep talking about your era, they talk about the 90s, they talk about the 80s, but they wonder, like everyone's wondering with the poor camera quality. There was great cameramen, but just, film. It was film. You had to print it off.
Yes.
In magazines. How could they, like now with our cameras, we can make ourselves look however we want. But you guys were serrated. You had certain, not just muscle bellies, connections to this, to that. And what I found out was, which was a gentleman, you might not know him in Australia, his name is Terry Mitsos. He said to me, today's bodybuilders are blocky because they're all machines. When you were doing free weights, cable pushes, you had no balance. You had to create balance. So that created a different type of muscle.
Different core.
And a core. And what I'm getting is that's why your shoulders and your arms and your forearms and your legs and just look like someone had chopped you up. And today, everyone has to go into the diet to do that. Everyone has to lean so far down, excuse me, has to, like everyone talks about when they deplete, it's all about food, where you guys said you didn't change very much. You just like ran at red line. Like you just pushed that hard. Like that's what I'm saying.
Sure.
We'll push through.
The machines are different now. They had more free weights, and I believe that the rubber weights are different. People try to use all this science shit. So rubber, I believe, has a different gravity pull than iron.
I agree.
If I go use a wrapped iron plate with rubber, so you got the iron wrapped with rubber, and I go do 2 plates, and then I turn around and go to another gym and just slap 2 45-pound iron on iron.
Yeah.
It's a different feeling.
It is.
When the guys in the 80s, 70s, 60s, 90s, my era, we trained. It took me 7.5 years to turn pro. It was calculated.
Yeah.
I didn't go 1 show, 2 shows pro. Right now, it's easier to get a pro card. I'm not saying it's easy. It's easier because there's more opportunities to become a pro.
Well, just quickly, because like I said, Terry, who co-hosted me with Frank Zane, he said it was 10 years for him to go to amateur to pro. And even Frank Zane said the same thing.
Took me 7.5.
Yeah, you took 7.5. It's like that kind of time frame. Yeah.
Yeah, I waited. I did a show, did another show, won my class, did another show, won my class. And then I started doing the Mr. USA. I did the NPC USA. I waited to the next year, did it in 97. Boom. Waited again from that's 97, 98, did it again in 98. Tied Dennis James and then succumbed to that loss. So I waited another year. So it took me 3 different years. I didn't go to the Nationals, run a North American, run over here to the Masters. I didn't do none of that. I waited because I wanted to win the USA like Flex did. I wanted to win the USA like Chris did. I'm a West Coast boy. So, I took that to heart. I want that USA. Yeah. So my training, I was lifting weights at 13 from 1983 to 1993. 1993, get a scholarship, go to Cal State Fullerton. I played that whole year. I lift weights before track practice, after practice, before I went to the club. I'm doing push-ups. I was always into the weights before going out for leisure. So you had almost 15 years of unmature muscle that became mature in my 20s. Yeah. I had 10 years of training. Yeah. And then I started doing shows 93, 94, 95, 96, 97 under John Brown, Charles Glass, Milos. I had people telling me what to do. Sean Ray gave me diets. Yeah. So it's like, the pictures look different. So you have pictures of, go back and look at pictures of Lou Ferrigno, Robbie Robinson, Serge Debray. Yeah. Sergio Oliva, Berto Fox, Rich Gaspari, Larry Scott. Just go look at those photos
Leland
and look at
Brada,
that
all that
muscle.
muscle, yeah.
Look at the muscle. Look at Samir Banut's back.
Yeah.
Look at Frank Zane. Go look at those photos. Theory Pastel.
Yeah.
And then, John Sherman. I can name 20-something guys,
I know.
and then you put those next to some of the guys today. It's a different look. It's a denser look. The muscle striated to the bone.
Yes.
Not just striated in the muscle. So that tells me that you guys are using chemicals to get dense, not busting an iron.
Also, I believe...
I'm not saying all of them. I'm saying
but
some of them.
Yeah, but the thing is...
Some of the guys that have that dense look, they're hitting them weights. You got Terrence Rufford. Terrence Russell got the dense muscle. Even Logan, he doesn't have the crazy mass, but he's got dense muscle. You go and look at Keon, the prodigy. That boy hitting them weights. Yeah. He's dense because he's taking his time. He ain't rushing. He's really maturing that muscle.
Hey guys, as I chow down on macro foods, your true source of macro and micronutrients, I'm chowing down on teriyaki chicken. 7 grams of carbs, 50 grams of protein, and only 334 calories. You got no excuse to not get your meals in, and I'm a true advocate for about 5 meals a day. I always get my meals in, and to make sure you get your meals in, you go to macrofoods.com.au and order now. Use code MTP10 to get 10% off. macrofoods.com.au, use code MTP10 to get 10% off. Go get yours now.
Anytime you want to know what's going on in the world, just watch the movies. They always tell you what's going to happen or what their premonitions are.
Really?
If you watch the movies. So, prime example. Please. State of the Enemy. Do you remember that movie, State of the Enemy, with Will Smith and I forget the other guy's name, but it was a movie about them putting up cameras, being under constant surveillance, taking your life away really quick just by cutting off your credit cards, all that stuff. Well, they can do that now. So that was a couple of years before they started putting cameras on the freeways, cameras in the neighborhoods, cameras in the projects, cameras in the suburban areas, rural, it didn't matter. So now they wanted to see, let's see what happens with the public when we show the movie. Everybody was applauding it. So when that happened, 2 years later, here we got cameras everywhere. I mean, everywhere. So there's no more privacy. No one has privacy anymore. You look at the movies and you can just kind of tell what's going to happen. Just look at The Simpsons, one of the producers, his name was Bill Wilmark, rest in peace. He always told me, we make it up. But a lot of times, it's like premonitions. We kind of just throw it together. Here it is, Trump's president. But they showed on The Simpsons years ago that he was going to be president, and he's been the president twice. Yeah. So if you go back and watch the old Simpsons, you can see what was going to happen before it happened. But how? I just watched it. I don't know how, some people get, act of God, I guess, to be able to foretell the future, I guess, in a sense. I know it sounds kind of weird and conspiracy, but not. If you go back and watch movies, you can pretty much see what's happening or what has happened or what's going to happen just from watching it. They make things, it's almost like they throw it out there to test, to see if it's okay. If nobody, talks crazy or nobody, revolts, then okay, let's try that and see if it works,
But it's, but even like I said, I mean, it's been a week now, but even that Charlie Kirk guy that got shot and just the stories behind that, I mean, it's crazy, man. The whole thing.
It's crazy. I believe, hey, inside job. You know what I mean?
I mean, unfortunately, most people think definitely that. I don't know. It's hard not to believe it when you think about, like, it just doesn't seem normal the way they have carried on about it, what they're talking to us about. But maybe that's their plan to confuse the fuck out of us.
It could be possible. I think that, obviously, if you go back and I never really knew who he was.
Me either.
I mean, I've seen him around.
Yeah.
But what I've recently, over the last week, went back and watched some of the stuff he was saying in some of his debates. People were calling him a racist. People were calling him this, saying he was an extremist, this and that. But if you go back and listen to what he was saying,
Yeah.
a lot of that stuff makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, you can't give a person who's never had money $20 million. What are they going to do? Blow it?
Yeah.
Buy things? Now, I'm not saying everybody, but what he said was pretty true. If you go back and give a lot of money to people, it doesn't matter what the color is. If you give someone who does not have any experience with finances, and you give that person a bunch of money, they're going to blow it. No matter if it's the government, no matter if it's a program, no matter if they win the lottery.
Yeah.
If you go back and get this person won $100 million and he's broken 5 years. So, he was talking about reparations, and he was talking to, a college or, some of the people that were asking these important and serious questions. What about reparations? He says, well, why not put it into schooling, or put it into education, or put it into trade schools, put it into people, learning, having programs to learn a certain craft, and then, give them opportunities to have money. But if you give a person that doesn't have an experience with money, who's, into buying fast cars and buying houses and have no experience, even myself, I'm speaking about myself.
Oh, don't worry.
Giving a person back in the day, me being a bodybuilder, if you weigh those things out, I put it in that perspective. Me having $100,000 or $100,000 plus a year contract with Muscle Tech and Biotech and these other companies, and not really realizing what to do with that money. If I would have listened to, some of even the things that John Brown was telling me back in the day, buy this, invest in that, I would still have money today. I wouldn't have to work as hard, you see. So that's just thinking from a reparations aspect and what Kirk was saying. They'd have gave me $20 million back when I was competing, I'd have blew it. I know what I would have did. I would have been buying yachts and traveling and doing this and that. And I'm not saying I would have been silly all the way, but I don't think I would have had as much money as if I would have the experience with finances.
What would you change now if you went back and was given all that again? What would you change?
I definitely would have invested in not necessarily Wall Street, but I would have invested my money with a Roth IRA. I would have put it in some kind of a Vanguard account to where, I could put that money away so that at the end of my career, I would have money in residuals at 12, 15, 20% or whatever in a trust that's making its own money. Yeah. And then living off the aspect of that, that interest. But me not knowing any better, yes, I bought a house. And I don't think I'm the only one in bodybuilding who's had a bunch of money that can say, oh, I did everything correct. I can say John did well with his money. He was always a genius with money. Other bodybuilders like myself, I had a nice Mercedes. Yes, I've had a Range Rover. Yes, you could name all these cars I've had. I've had a couple of houses. But what I didn't realize is how to manage the funds while they were coming in. Because in bodybuilding, what these young bodybuilders don't know, first, I would never make it my first stream of income. Yeah. Never. Not saying bodybuilding is a bad thing. Bodybuilding saved my life. Bodybuilding taught me how to have respect for a human being. It taught me a lot of things, but what it did not teach me is how to run my finances. Yes, still you can win $38,000 like I did for Mr. Olympia, placing 5th place. Yes, I got, I won $20,000 here and $10,000 over here and won this contest and traveled to all these places getting lump sums of money and didn't do the right thing with the money because I didn't know any better. I wouldn't say frivolous, but I was careless with it. And so I would always, offer, if you're going to be a bodybuilder, have a regular career job too. Don't make this your career, because the money now, it's not like it was when I was coming through. There are no $200,000-$300,000 contracts like they had back then. There's social media now, so people can go to the social media and watch real time a bodybuilder's journey. Back then we had Flex Magazine, Ironman Magazine, Muscle and Fitness. We had Japan Ironman. We had different ways of getting endorsements in these magazines or through these magazines with these vitamin companies. Now the vitamin companies don't think they need bodybuilders as much as they did when I was coming through, or even when Sean Ray was coming through, or Milo Sarchav, or some of the other guys, Chris Cormier in the sport. Those guys were making millionaires to us. Lee Priest, I mean, I've seen him with $7,000-$8,000 checks just sitting there laying around from vitamin companies. Joe Weider contracts. They don't have that anymore.
So do you think it's been watered out now? Like, so who's making money in bodybuilding? on your perspective, if I said, because if I'd asked you who's making money, besides promoters, besides, I guess, whoever else is in business, but out of bodybuilding, who's actually making money?
I wouldn't say they're not making money.
Yep.
I just don't believe that they're making the money that we were making when we were coming through 90s, 2000s, 2010.
Yep.
They've cut back on endorsement money where, they have a sponsor. Now, some of these guys are with these vitamin companies that are they're being, endorsed by per se. But the money value that they're getting yearly is not the same when I was coming through. Not even close.
Doesn't match the cost of living, Doesn't match the cost of living, cost of what properties today, what everything is today.
Not at all. Not at all. And I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. They're going to do what's best for the business or for their brand. So, I think that now it's popular. It's way up there when it comes to popularity. But to the extent of extending that to athletes or giving them opportunity to make that type of money, it's just not there anymore. They're giving out, collaborations. They're giving out discount codes. If I'm taking this product, if you take it, they're getting 15% off, and then they're getting a kickback off of, the residuals of their sales. So it's just run differently than it was when I was coming through.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I know it wasn't. It was really actually sponsorships and contracts. Do the guys get contracts? Again, I mean, I'm inquiring. Like, who, like, Wider gave contracts, right? He wanted to lock these athletes in. He had expectations of them. They had to look sharp. They had to be ready for magazine shots. They had to, because Wider, he made his money. He knew in a magazine, it was the advertisers. Those guys paid big dollars. So he knew so he made probably 90% of all that, and there was a lot of 10% to hand out to athletes. A lot of money to hand out. Is anyone contracted through anybody?
I think there are some athletes that still have contracts. I'm not saying they're not giving them out. They're just not giving them out in bulk, in a high volume. You have some of the clothing companies like, the Wolfpack and, some of these brands that, that are clothing, they have Gasp and some of these other companies that, that are really, they have still athletes. You have Rich Gaspari still has athletes. But I'm just not sure if it's run at the equivalency of when I was at my prime. So some of the major guys still have contracts, but they're not major. I don't think they're major. Not at all. The leader was definitely using the magazine to catapult bodybuilding in a great way, and giving companies opportunities to spend money on those advertisements in the magazine that we endorsed to make that residual income coming back through the company. So our job was to be in shape, to be ready for guest posings, do store signings, and do well in competition. I wasn't fortunate enough to be a Weider athlete. I had a contract, when my career was dwindling or coming down, just doing writings or doing, monthly journalism type thing, coverage, covering stuff like that. So they were paying. I had a Weider contract through that, which was absolutely great. It was fun
to
do. This I definitely, advise any young athlete, male or female, do your homework before you settle on, I'm going to make bodybuilding my primary. Well, you better make sure it's giving you, 3 times a month of your rent and utilities and bills before you even settle on giving your life, to the aspect of bodybuilding only. You gotta have a B. You gotta have a plan B.
No, you do have to build up something around it. Discovering bodybuilding. I was just doing some research, and maybe you can clarify something. At the age of 14, feeling unsatisfied with bodyweight workouts, because we spoke about you doing everything bodyweight at home. You met someone called Strong. Is it true? Strong, and a muscular man, and funny enough, with no criminal background, who recognized your potential. So, and Strong told him, go to the gym, train, eat right. Advice that, it's very, very basic advice, but advice that completely changed your trajectory. So, because like I said, you told me everyone thought you want to get jacked, go to prison. Obviously the gym membership's free there in a sense. costs in other
pretty
ways.
much.
Yeah. So tell us about this one.
Strongest name was Stephen James.
Yep.
And his father was a professional baseball player.
Yep.
I can't remember what team,
Mhm.
but he lived up in the hills, not where we were, but up in the same neighborhood.
Oh, yeah.
And he ended up going to the military. So, my first interaction with, that type of a weight environment, because like I said before, Jerry Ports was the first one to ever, really give me a pretty good workout. He had a home gym.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as the gym atmosphere, Strong, who we call him Stevie J, but Strong was the one that really instilled in me that, hey man, you got a good body. You could be big like me. And I didn't believe it because I was, this big. I was a tiny guy. So I was challenged all the time, just growing up in a low middle class neighborhood. You have to, believe and respect something. You got to give respect to get it. And I wanted respect. I wanted to be like the superheroes in the magazine. So him telling me that, it meant a lot because I respected him. I looked up to Strong. So he was the first one to take me to Ted Williamson's gym in Riverside called Spectrum Gym, which was like, a Gold's Gym sublet, It had all the weights. It had all the, the high players. I didn't know at the time who they were. I just seen all these big, huge, muscular men and women going to this gym. So I was actually about 13 at the time when he took me in the gym. And that was the first time I laid eyes on Troy Zucolato, who won the Miss California. I think he won either USA or the Nationals, became a pro, good pro. But he was a guy I saw and was like, whoa, that's a big white boy, my boy. So you can't say that. You can't say that. It's not good to say that. So I'm learning, the difference. You can't, call a white boy in his face, But me just being mesmerized by the gym and the weights and the cleaning of the bells in there, it was very inspiring, and I wanted to do that. So he was the first one to really kind of introduce me to a type of training that I wasn't ready for. No more body push-ups and calisthenics, which I still did in between. But really telling me, you can eat well. You can eat turkey. You can eat tuna fish sandwiches. That's why I kind of really don't like tuna fish today. Yeah, because I was, Joe Eater had these liver pills, cod liver pills. Yeah, I don't know if you remember back in the day, those big, huge red pills. Yeah, swallowing those 2 or 3, a meal, and I used to have to cut them with a knife. And I'm eating tuna fish, because it's it was something that was reasonably priced. And I'm talking to my mom into buying a bunch of that along with government cheese, So I'm making, tuna fish cheese sandwiches and working out. So he was one of the guys that inspired me to do that. And then he left the neighborhood. Yeah. So he's in and out. So, 13, I'm, lifting weights a little bit, and then come 14 years old, he's gone. So I'm still living in the neighborhood. So I'm still picking up good things and bad things, but I just added weights with it. So the guys gives you a kind of like a pro and con type of thing in growing up. So yeah, he really inspired me to get as big as I could. And, I didn't really realize that, he was telling me that I could be good like the guys in the magazine. He was just saying, you could get muscles. You could be like me. Wow. Now, mind you, at that time, I'm sneaking in 7-Elevens and looking at Flex magazines of Robbie Robinson and Rich Gaspari and, Arnold Schwarzenegger and, Sergio Oliva, who was like my all-time, favorite bodybuilder ever. Yeah. And seeing these guys, look like, oh my goodness, I want arms like that dude, I'd like to have arms like this dude. I'd like to have 21-inch arms. Berto Fox, the massiveness of that muscle, the density in that muscle. I'm looking at that like, he's telling me I could do that. I want to do that. Yeah. There was a lot of guys that, I ended up meeting, later on in my career that I looked up to. You had Serge Nabray, who I met personally. And so, yeah, that was really one of the guys who got me started, thinking that way, that I could do that, but I still have my hand back in the neighborhood. But I'm grasping for, to be productive at the same time. I'm still holding on to the neighborhood. Yeah, of course. When do you think it clicked? Like, when was it the moment you had to surrender, like to not go back, but to disconnect from that, to change, to actually probably even cull
cull a little bit along the way. You know what I mean? Like you had to let go
Yeah.
of some stuff, because I'm sure people, they say people dislike what you're becoming because you're exposing them of their inadequacies. So here are you going, and I'm sure you got mates wanting to pull you back, people around you, the neighborhood, and thinking, where the fuck are you going? We don't like you. And you're wanting to be liked, but unfortunately you're seeing you're not supported. When was that change?
Oh, I would say that change came, actually, truthfully, that came,
And was it tough?
probably when I was 20, 21.
Yeah, go on.
I struggled with it my whole career, even up to the last few years. I've struggled with, myself, trying to re-evolve myself.
Yeah.
Loyalty comes big, in these environments. So I was told, I remember at the age of 21, I had a friend. I still have, still talk from time to time, speak with him. His name was Hippo, like Hungry Hippo.
Yeah, Hungry Hippo. Good kill game.
Hippo, yeah. And he said to me, you're always, running around here, running and lifting weights, and, you need to go play football, do something professional because, you're good at that. He said, me, I'm gonna always do dirt because that's just me. I'm gonna always be a hustler. That's just who I am. And he embraced that. But he looked me dead in my eyes and he was like, just think of this. You make it, the neighborhood make it.
Wow. Yeah,
carry that with you.
Yeah.
So I carried that through my entire career. That, no matter if they're with me or not, you can always, talk to your friends. You can always come back and visit. He said, but you stay your ass out the projects. And he said, because if you make it, we all make it. We live through you. Yeah. And so when I came through, even John Brown, I never really told him about that. I carried that my whole life. And because it was instilled in us that everything don't have to be, you being a demon. If you make it and cross over, and even in bodybuilding, that's why I was like, if somebody's judging me right now, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me if it helps someone, because there are guys that are in the NFL right now still selling dope. Wow. There are guys in the NFL and in the basketball and baseball still gangbang. You got guys in college at USC still carrying that flag because they believe in it and it's loyalty to them. What they don't realize is that at the end of the day, you must re-evolve to represent something, your parents, your family. I represented my family and the neighborhood. So the more positive things I did, the more wins I got. And that's why I trained so hard, because I was afraid to fail. I was afraid to fail John Brown. If he told me to do 1,000 reps, and you can ask him today, he will tell Melvin to do it. Melvin to stay here all night. I won't give. There's no quit in me. And that's just from the neighborhood. That was instilled in me running around my friends. You can jump me 7 guys. And guess what? I'm not quitting. And if I got to come back, it's hell to pay. That was I took that anger. I took that disrespect from enemy neighborhoods and I put it into weights. And I was like, I don't have to hurt them. I can hurt these weights, because that's a battle every second in that gym. Every rep. Yeah. Every contraction, every squat, every push-up, whatever it is, no quit. And if you do quit, because you will fail, you will get hurt, you will get injured. John Brown used to tell me, are you hurt? Are you injured? And I looked up at it, and I remember at the time I was up under like 225 doing lunges. Yeah. And he's like, are you hurt? Are you injured? I didn't understand what the hell he was talking about, because I was tired and I wanted to get this weight off my back. But again, I had to drag and drag into something to stand up. He said, if you hurt, we call 911. If you injured, you're a little sore, you're a little throat off, stand up. That's what John Brown's telling me. And I got 225 on my back. After doing all those weights, after doing the 100, four sets of 100 with the whole stack, after doing 80 reps with the lying leg curl supersetting, and then squatting, and then doing leg lunges with 225, and my body gave out. Wow. He said, you gonna do it. If your mama was watching you get up, wouldn't you? Your homeboys watching you, get your ass up. And guess what I did? I stood up. Yeah. So there weren't too many people in bodybuilding that could bury me.
I guess you mentioned, if you don't have I know people say that you got to have a why, but I think sometimes your past is your kind of why. You just knew to keep you away, to make the ghetto proud, to make family proud, to be the answer to something. It's kind of what drove you. It's kind of like what pushed you.
It drove me because it was instilled in me at the time as a young man that there's going to be a day where somebody 18, 17, 16, 13 is going to ask, I want to be like Marvelous Melvin Anthony.
Yeah, it's good.
And this is before I had the name Marvelous. I was just Melvin. There's going to be somebody that wants to be like Melvin. I am the one that has to stop that chain of negative events. You don't have to go to prison to have 22-inch arms. You don't have to take a bunch of drugs to be big. What you do have to have is testicular fortitude to do the work. So and that's what's missing these days. These guys don't want to hit the weights because they're afraid to tear a muscle. I wasn't afraid of anybody or anything. Ever. Not at all. So that used to drive me to finish my workouts. That would drive me to put that nasty chicken in my mouth that I didn't want to eat. That drove me to never give. And if you have somebody that wants to train with you, vary them.
Yeah. No.
That was, I was taught that if somebody wants to train with you, make them regret it or make them up their level to be where you are. Never let your training partner pull you down. You pull them up where you are. You have to feed off each other as far as the energy. So that was instilled in me as a young man.
I think that's sportsmanship as well, isn't it? That's how we play sport. That's how we play the opposition. Sometimes our opposition's our mate, but when it's they call it when it's on the field, it kind of stays on the field. If that makes sense, it's all
that makes sense.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
It does.
That's why the mad circle was created. The mad circle. You got to be insane to do what we were doing.
There is sometimes so delusional in the belief as well. You just got to make it. Even if you're not there, the belief is there. And people look around you and say, what do you see? And you know what you see inside your head. So at the end of the day, you create it. 1993, I believe that's when you made your first competitive debut. Placed third at Muscle Mania. Is that right?
Yeah. It was at the Muscle Mania. It was, oh my God. That was so long ago.
I know, bro. I did some research, man. I'll be like, that's why I said.
Yeah, it was third place. And the funny thing was that they got my nickname wrong. They had just asked me some random questions. Well, it's not a lie. I was called Buffalo, but they were calling me Buffalo in Mexico because I was eating up all the tacos when I was over there. So I don't know where they got that. They asked me about a funny story, and I was like, that's how I got that weird name, Buffalo. Because I would go to Tijuana, we drive over the border and I go, we get our drink on and go to the gym, train. And then after that, eat up everything. And they were so impressed with how much food we could ingest. They was like, you eat like a buffalo. So they gave me that name and put it on TV and it comes on Buffalo Melvin. I'm like, Buffalo? Man, I don't call me Buffalo, man. My name on the street, they call me Cockstrong. That's not it.
Well, then you spent several years competing regional, right? Tell me if I'm wrong. Like I said, and then returned to the NPC USA Championships in 1988, earning second place as a super heavyweight, correct?
1998. Yes.
1998.
Yeah, 98. My first win came in 1995 at the Palm Springs NPC Palm Springs show.
Yes,
And then 96, I competed, but my first win was 95. Then 96, I won the Orange County regional show. I won the overall. And then a week later, I won the 1996 Mr. California, which back then was that's like the combines. I mean, that was like, you're getting a major, D1 scholarship to go, to a huge school. So me winning the Cal was like, you were that guy. If you won the California when I was competing, you were that guy in the world. And that was the time I did my first guest posing. I left, was able to go to Japan for the first time. And John was telling me, the way you pose, the way you do it the way I teach you, and you put that street dance with it, throw poses with it. He goes, you'll be a legend. I didn't know what it meant, but you're going to travel early. So I was traveling guest posing as an amateur. Like I was a pro.
Oh, well, let's, let me just move that for a second. Cause, one of your pin posts, right? I think you're posing, competing at the Olympia, the 24th of August. You posted this. It says, one of the greatest entertainers and most aesthetic bodybuilders of his era. He was not just competing, he was creating a moment every single time. I think the song that was playing was it was a soulful song, Teach Me by Mystique, Soul Child, divided into Madonna and Justin Timberlake track. I think it's 4 minutes, and then you started busting some moves. And I read in the captions, someone wrote John Brown 2.0.
That's right.
Tell us about that.
That's right.
That was pretty smooth.
John Brown was an entertainer, so
yeah,
he's one of the best to ever do it. And he told me, he goes, if you continue to perfect this craft, you're going to be better than I was. And so that was my goal, to be as good as my teacher, if not better.
You did.
And I was taught to learn tempo posing, which they have no clue what that is. It's what I teach now in my posing clinics. And he said that basically the goal is to attract an audience and take them through a journey.
Yeah.
And it has to crescendo. It has to start soulful and, start slowly, or even a medium type tempo, and it has to accelerate and get more powerful with the poses and accelerate, get them somewhere to where they're, going crazy. And then once the music transitions, you want to top out with your entertainment, because no one at the time could move. I haven't even seen anybody to this day, besides the ones that were competing with my day, compete and move like I did. And then you leave them with it. You just snatch the carpet from under them and say, okay, you have to wait till next
Pull
time.
the curtain on them.
Yeah, you got to close it while whoa, I want more, and that's where the, coming back again and again, they call you back out for, to perform more. So my gift was, and still is to this day, is to be able to take a song that a person can understand that says something. A lot of these guys are posing, they're not saying anything. They're just contracting muscle. Yeah. They'll throw anything together and no connection. That's entertainment. And I've recently heard a person on Prime Time, and I'm going to put him on blast because I kind of was like, I don't agree with what he said. Right. Well, he said, forget all the dancing, forget this and forget that. Just pose like a Terrence Ruffin or a Logan Franklin or whatever. Those guys are great posers. But there's another level that they could go to that they haven't touched, because even the way they pose, any bodybuilder that poses to music is dancing.
I agree. And I think there's a fine line, and I'll tell you why. A few people and I get it, because I was going to ask you, we'll jump with posing, and you're the perfect person to speak about this. There's a big, it's a hot topic at the moment. People, song choices, how they're dancing, or dancing or posing, whatever you want to call it. But I think people are trying, right? They're trying, but they're not being authentic. They're not being original. They're not being themselves. You can't copy John Brown to a T. You can't copy Melvin Anthony to a T. You can't copy Sean Ray to a T.
Well, I can.
All right, you can. Yeah, no. What I mean by that is,
I get it. I'm just kidding.
No. But what I'm getting at is, they produced it, manifested it, designed it, created, danced it. Like you guys, there was a formality to come on stage, and you didn't know the past. You were creating a present. God, how good are these words? Creating a
Mhm.
present. But today, everyone's going, I want to be like the past. But what you have to be is what's today. But take what the past has offered you, the guts, the glory, the investment, the conviction, and then bring it to the stage to own it. But like I said, maybe they're too scared or they're doing stupid shit on stage and they're also listening to the wrong
To the
people.
wrong guy.
To the wrong
Absolutely.
guys. Yeah, there you go.
Absolutely correct. They have these posing people that they have helping them who know nothing about
Fuck,
posing.
that shits me, that stuff too.
They have guys and girls that are teaching these bodybuilders and classic people how to move, but they don't know how to move themselves.
No.
So a blind will lead blind.
And they've never sorry to interrupt, and they've never done anything original, and
Nothing.
they've never built skin in the real game. They've just been once on stage, maybe won something, but you didn't win a posing round. You didn't win the whole thing. You won. Your physique got you there. Physique will get you there, but there's a lot, there's intricate stuff to it. So go ahead.
Yes, it's what you do with your physique.
Yeah.
If you go back and just look at facts and stats, how many posing awards were offered and who has the most? I do.
There you go.
I've won every posing award that was ever offered, some 2 or 3 times over. Not saying that I'm better than anyone. No. I'm saying that everybody has a different look. Everybody or every person, male or female, has a certain gift. Give you an example. I've helped Branch Warren in a routine for the Arnold. Can he dance? Yeah. But would he do it on stage? Would it match Branch Warren's physique? No, but he had huge legs. So what was Branch Warren's niche? His wheels. So we created music and put something together, and he nailed it. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Troy Alves, who was another pro coming in. He was in a strip gang back in the day. So he could dance, that kind of dance. But we cannot bring that on the stage all the way. You can
you got to pull the curtain. You got to pull the curtain on that.
Yeah, you got to be PG. So what we did was create an actor or create a character for Troy Alves. So he asked me, hey, Mel, can you help me? I said, I got you, man. Just come down. So I worked with Troy Alves and we created the Predator. He was the first Predator to come out. Yeah. So Troy went down to LA, got him it was the first time that the Arnold class was going to allow us to use props for this particular show. So I'm like, I believe it was the Arnold. And I went down to LA, got him a $200 mask of the Predator. And he came out and he nailed it. Right? I did Darth Vader that year. I think Lee Priest did the Superman. So we were all able to use props, but using props and moving to music is 2 different things. The song has to match what you're using that matches your physique. 100%. That, the why. Every bodybuilder or female bodybuilder or female athlete, male athlete, they have to tell the audience and the judges the why. Why are you here? What are you trying to say to them to get the connection? Use the music to do it. If you're angry about something, use the music to talk crap. You don't have to speak out and say, I don't like what happened last year. They robbed me and they placed me in the wrong spot. Use your music to tell them. And I was a master at that. I learned the right way. I could tell a story on how I was feeling or what I was trying to display through my music. And everybody understood it. My fans understood what I was saying, which made it beautiful. A person that comes out that's 150 pounds, why would you come out to Superman? It don't match your physique. Yeah. You can't use Superman if you don't look like Superman.
100%.
Right? Yeah. But Dave Palumbo was able to come out to the Hulk because he was bulky, big like the Hulk. Yeah. Yes. You could have a example, Jay Cutler posed to the Incredibles. Guess what? Because he looks like one of them Incredibles.
Man, I'm just wow.
He could get away with. I could have Jay Cutler come out to something dramatic like 300 from the soundtrack, right? And just imagine Jay Cutler moving to that, posing to that, and then switch it up, throw something with the Incredibles soundtrack, and finish with some rap. They would have never saw that coming. And I spoke to him about it. He was like, "Oh, I don't know, man." I said, "It will work," because they would never see that coming. I had Gustavo Badell, rest in peace. He asked me to help him. So I told him, I was like, yeah, what are you trying to say? He told me what he was trying to portray. I put the music together and I said, man, you are from the Puerto Rican land, bro. You gotta do some salsa, man. Just a little bit. You between your routine, throw in a little bit of salsa merengue and then hit a pose. They will go absolutely nuts. And he did it. And they went nuts.
Wow. So
there are all these different bodybuilders that I've helped, that I've had my hand in, you know, and it worked. You know, Sean Roden, I created a routine for him.
Wow.
I helped Dexter Jackson with one of his routines, I believe for the 2016 Mr. Olympia. And he did it, and he nailed it. It's all about what's the why? Why are you here? What are you trying to say to the audience?
Maybe they should, I was just thinking, like, maybe they should hire you. Definitely, you know, the federation, if the IFBB, whatever it is, the NPC or Olympia, but they need, I think that people that are competing at the highest level should get some guidance, but also maybe subjective, not criticism, advice, where you tell them what are you trying to achieve. Like, there should be something that helps them put a routine together, so then this show becomes the true theater it should become, where people in the crowd pay fucking big dollars, just like going to see Phantom of the Opera or Les Mis. I'm trying to say that the only reason things become huge is the entertainment aspect. That part, because
they have to look at it, like look for something. But my God, he's coming out next. What is he going to come out?
You got to tap your feet. You got to tap your feet. You got to sit back in the chair when it's over, and they pull the curtain, and you turn to your friend next to you, and go, "What the fuck was that?" You know what I mean?
Yes. And it's funny that you say that, because that was one of the things I looked forward to. And I think Sean was the same way. People look for, what are you going to do this time? And I would basically sit back and say, you got to wait. I wanted to tell my fans so bad what I was going to do for the Mr. Olympia, but I made them wait. They would bring, I had people that were bringing 5, 6, 7 people at a time to the show that's never been to a show before. And they would tell me after. I would tell my cousins, and then, man, wait till you see Melvin. They would ask me what my number was. They would ask me, when do you think you're going to come out? Because sometimes they're at the bar. I've had situations where fans have dragged their kid. There was a guy that flew, and he might have been from Australia.
Yeah.
With his kid. And he was asking me at the meeting to meet the athletes. He was like, hey, Mel, Marvis, do you know when you're going to come out? And I believe I was number 7. And it was, I believe, 2006 at the Mr. Olympia. And I said, he goes, well, you think you're going to go out early? I said, probably. I said, but always be prepared, because if the person, the second or the third place, gets kicked out and they're in 16th place or 18th place, or they don't make the top 10, that means I come out third, which means I come out right away. So just look for that. And he didn't listen to me. He told me after the show, and I about died laughing. And he goes, man, I dragged my son while he was peeing at the urinal. Because he heard my name on the speakers. Oh, yeah. And I had told him, hey, man, you're going to go to the bathroom, do that early, get all your drinks and all that, do it early, because there's no telling when I'm going to come out. And I believe I came out third at that show, because the other 2 guys were out of the top 10. Yeah. Right. So I'm like, okay, I came out very quickly and I performed. And he goes, I didn't fly all the way here to have my son Miss Marvelous Melvin Anthony. Wow. So I took pride in that, I took pride in hearing people tell me, when I did do Phantom of the Opera, I did that at the Arnold, a lady who never saw a show before.
Wow.
And she walked up to me in tears, and I'm looking at her like, what happened? Are you okay? And she was like, my son begged me to come to this show. And she goes, you now have a new fan. She goes, first of all, you used my favorite song of all time. Oh, yeah. I used The Art of Noise by Enigma. Yeah. Or is it Enigma? I was Enigma by Art of Noise. But I used that song, which is one of my favorites. Yeah. And I posed to it, and I used the mask and everything. And she comes out and she goes, that's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. I'm still crying. I'm just like, no, it's okay. I mean, can I have a hug? I was like, sure. I gave her a hug. And for 3 or 4 years after that, I always saw her. She became a fan.
Yeah.
that day. And that's what the sport's missing.
Mm.
You want to create money to come back into the sport. You want to create, because it's a business. But if you're not entertaining the audience, judges are fans too. You got to entertain the judges to show them why I should be first place. With my physique, I'm in shape, I'm shredded, I'm conditioned, and now I'm about to present it the way you've never seen it, which is going to give them the influence to push me even higher.
Yeah.
I could go from a fifth. I've been for fifth place and end up third, based upon what I did on stage and the audience response and how I looked presenting that physique.
Yeah.
But if you're just getting up there doing anything, sticking your tongue out and throwing the most muscular, nobody cares about that. What I'm seeing today, I'm like disgusted. Like, bro, are you serious? I've seen there's so much more you can do. And I wish I could fly and go sit next to Andrew Jack. I wish I could run over here and go see Sumpson and all these other guys, because there's a level that they can touch that they haven't touched.
Yeah. I think,
and if they do it, the place will go crazy.
Maybe they're putting, like you gotta do this, you gotta do that, you gotta do your tan here, you gotta they're putting everything in-house, whatever, and it all makes money too. But I think they should put a body together where you could run, where you help athletes find purpose in relation to their body. Because I think as well, I was going to ask you, what if you could give a tip to somebody out there at the moment, someone listening, thinking, I'm built, but I'm not flexible, or I'm not, like, what is it that they've got to do besides picking up weights, besides putting on size? What else do they need to put in their weekly routine that gives them an element of flexibility, an element of grace? Because some of us, even myself, I wouldn't, like I said, that is training in itself. But what I'm saying is, of course, that would be personally booking you in and getting it done. But what I'm saying is, what do they need to do to allow that physique to mold into things, to do things?
Definitely practice. You have to practice, or at least get the basics from someone who has the experience. For someone, like you said earlier, who has skin in the game. It doesn't necessarily have to be marvelous Melvin Anthony, but someone with the know-how to be able to position a person and teach them each pose first.
But the thing, wait, I'm going to interrupt for a sec. Yes, but there's a few other people here in Australia that are dripping passion for posing. Like, who else would you go to? I think people need to also find those people that put posing separate to just the physique is the physique. It's not like what I'm trying to say is, the love you have for posing, bro.
I love it.
What I'm getting, no, but the love you have for posing, it's worth every single person's investment into you, because it's not posing and bicep curls and squats and your diet. This is the top of the top for you. Like, in relation to, I can tell you everything else, but if you want the top shelf stuff, the stuff that you want to taste, this is posing. And I think that's what people need to find, not the guy that, that's what I think you were saying as well. Yeah, all right, you won a competition, and yes, you did a nice posing routine that someone else taught you, but now you feel like you can teach people, but you're copycatting somebody else, and it becomes like, we call it, in America you don't have it, but it's called Chinese whispers, meaning by the time you pass it through, it gets filtered out, the true essence of the routine. So what I'm saying is, I think people should really start researching the right people, invest in it, because I'll just tell you, because you'll understand this, what I'm trying to say. Do you know Oksana? Oksana, that girl?
Yes.
Yeah, Oksana. I knew nothing about her. I had her on the podcast from Russia. Knew nothing about her in what she competed in. Do you know what captured my attention of that lady? Was her 1990-something routine at the Olympia. And she made me emotional. And I said, who is this beautiful woman? I reached out, I got her on, but you can't go back and find. That's why people find you in the past, because you hit a note And that's what, it's not the double bicep. Don't get me wrong, it is, but it's not the double bicep. It's not
It's the tricession.
it's the fucking everything. But
Yes,
then
it's
the,
that transition. It's the in between. It's
Yeah.
the how you get from a lat spread to a front double bicep.
no, it's
How
but
do
it's
you-
your
how do
routine.
you-
It's your
that's part of the routine.
it's the magic that you make me feel watching you,
Mhm.
what she did. You can't beat feelings. You can have thoughts and move on. But a feeling,
Mhm.
once it goes from your mind to your heart, you go, what the fuck did I just witness? Why aren't we seeing
Mhm.
this today? And that's what you are.
Yes, I learned how to pick a song that was speaking a different story,
Mm.
saying a certain thing. And while the music is playing, your movement, your transitions from pose to pose have to connect with the tempo of the song
Yes.
and what it's saying at the right time.
Mm.
Some people are just moving to a song.
Yeah.
There's a difference between moving to a song and posing temporally,
Mm.
right? Finding the tempo
Yeah.
throughout the song to make it become alive. That is what I've been taught. And you have to study the people that were before you,
Mm.
the Lee Haneys, the Leela Brada, the Bob Harrises,
Yeah.
the John Browns, the Robbie Robinsons, the Serge Nabrays, the Frank Zanes. If you go back and look at those guys, Ed Corney,
Yeah.
I could probably mimic, like you were saying, copycat. I was a master at
Oh, of course.
dancing.
Yeah.
So for me, coming from a pop locking breakdancing background,
Yeah.
I was able to do. There's a dance called copycatting.
Mm-hmm.
And that is where the battle is. You do a move, I do a move with a twist and give it right back to you. You turn around, do that move with another twist. And we go back and forth until somebody gives, or the audience is so loud for me, I win the $1,000. So in bodybuilding, I studied Ed Corney. John Brown had me study Serge Nabray. I studied with John Brown from beginning to end, from zero, not knowing how to do a front of a bicep.
You definitely have to
I
study.
learned from
You
somebody
have to study.
who had skin in the game. And
You
if
have
you
to
don't study Leela Brada, how he moved, if you don't study Bob Paris, how he moved, if you don't study Arnold, Lou Frigno, Sean Ray, Vince Taylor, you have to go back and study the guys that are known for posing. And then when you get those basics and it's being taught by somebody who can show you every one of those positions and then show you how to move like that through music, it becomes beautiful.
That is education. Like you said, you got to jump in the course. You got to jump on into the lesson and learn and study and try to perfect, like you said, and then create your own. But you were a bit like a songwriter, but it's like you wrote the songs. I don't know about you, obviously. That's what you
I was good at mixing it. I was good at finding, soundtracks and finding things I wanted to say, or even, breaking up with a girlfriend, how to say, screw you without saying it. I did all of that. And if you go back and watch my routines, you listen to what was being said, you could tell what I was thinking and who I was saying it to.
So you were breaking up with the girls up on stage, were you?
I did.
Whoa.
I did.
That is. Oh.
If you go back and watch, I'll give you a prime example.
Tell us.
If you go back and watch the 2003 Iron Man, when I ended up beating Flex Wheeler that year. If you go back and watch that routine, listen to the song.
I'm gonna do.
Listen to what it says.
Write that down, Chris.
And listen to the end. And you'll hear, because she cheated on me at the time, you don't have to say what you did. I already know. And I told him. And I pointed right at her. I pointed right at her.
That is.
You'll never be back in this circle. And I know.
Wow. That's covert. That is CIA stuff. That
I was cunning with it, even in posing. It was always crap talking. I could say it with a song.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love it. Speaking about breakdancing, how good were the 80s breakdancing? What was your move, man? What was your master move? I could do head spins. I was pretty good at head spinning.
I was so at a freestyle. I could freestyle a little bit, bebop. I was good at bebopping, but pop locking was my thing.
I've seen you pop lock a bit. Yeah,
I still to this day battle people. It's just fun.
I saw you on stage. I don't know. You looked like you were some kind of, I don't know, Copacabana somewhere. I don't know what it was. You're in your black trunks or speedos. They put you on stage. You were near the pool and you were doing the moves. I don't know what you were doing. It's up on your feed.
Yeah, pop locking, just messing around. I mean, I would be different places out of town and get called out by these breakdance crews.
Yeah, yeah.
It happened in Italy. I was in Florence, Italy, and this breakdance crew called me out saying that bodybuilders can't move. I laughed in their face, like, bro, why you want to get it? Like, what's happening? Phil Heath at the time was a rookie, and Phil was like, bro, you gonna let them do that? Get them, bro. What you gonna do about it, man? And I gave them the business, and they filmed it. And it's on. If you go to YouTube somewhere, it's there where I battled these guys, and I'm like, guys, you guys are not even close to me. I mean, you guys are out here learning the LA style. I'm from the LA area, so there's no way you're gonna beat me. And they put it on camera, and I wore them out, and I was like 260 at the time. I think I was big,
Mate, very colourful. I want to get into the colour bit, but let me just talk about your professional career. Let's so everyone can hear the competitions. I won't name the placings, all of them. I won't name the placings. I'll just tell you so that people go, what the fuck's going on here? But obviously, we mentioned 1993 Musclemania, and then obviously you mentioned a few others. Like I said, in 1997 NPC Nationals, 98 NPC USA Championships, 1999, which the super heavyweight, the overall earning of the IFBB Pro card. But from 99 World Amateur Championships, but from the Grand Prix England, Mr. Olympia in 2000 World Pro Championships, 2001 Ironman Pro, 2001 Mr. Olympia, 2002 Ironman Pro Invitational, 2002 San Francisco Pro International, 2002 Arnold Classic. I mean, this is a lot of stuff, man. And this is all in the same year. You guys ran it like it was a Formula One race. Like you guys went to Italy, then you went to France, then you went to Germany. It's like kind of like the Grand Prix. Like they don't do this. They don't do this anymore. It just doesn't happen. 2000,
it's not the same.
It just sits for everyone. Just waits for Mr. Olympia. They just sit there and wait for Mr. Olympia. Wait for Mr. Olympia. Wait for Mr. Olympia. Wait for Mr. Olympia. Which it takes a bit of the fun away, I believe, and why maybe even sponsors don't sponsor these guys is because they're not in front of the camera enough. They're not showing off something. So maybe everyone should look at this. But 2002 Mr. Olympia, 2003 Ironman Pro, 2003 Arnold Classic, 2003 San Francisco, and 2003 Mr. Olympia. Look at that. That's 4 shows in 2003, which all of them are like that. 2004 Ironman, 2004 Ironman Arnold Classic, 2004 San Francisco, 2004 Mr. Olympia, 2004 Night of Champions. So you've done 5 in 2004. 2005 Arnold Classic, 2005 Ironman, I'll just say 2005 San Francisco against Mr. Olympia. Then in 2006 Arnold, 2006 Ironman Pro, San Francisco, Mr. Olympia, 2007 Arnold Classic, Ironman, Mr. Olympia. Then 2008 Arnold Classic, Ironman, San Francisco, and then Mr. Olympia. Out of everything you've just heard there, which you guys ran it like it was some kind of, like I said, Formula One, World Tennis Tour, you name it, whatever it is, you guys rocked the world, or like rocked, not just, I'm not saying the world, but rocked the place up by turning up, cameras are on. Is there any fond memories there, stuff that really grabs you? I mean, and you remember, I'll tell you what I want to know. I want to know, what was the hardest one? What was the hardest year where you felt, oh, I just had to work harder this time. I don't know what happened. The world around me wasn't good either.
I have a couple, 2004 and I believe 2010.
Okay.
Oh, those were tough years. 2004, when I won the last Night of Champions that was offered. That was a tough one for me. I had to really dig into, because doing all those contests, they wanted to see something different. So to create something different, you had to basically put yourself in a position to where you just in a deficit. I mean, I think I was in a deficit. My whole diet. I mean, it was tough. I mean, but I used whole foods, and I was working with a guru, Pano Forgoulis, who was originally believed from Greece. Oh. And he knew his stuff, and he worked with Chris Cormier for many years. So I was able to work with him, and so that was a tough one. In 2010, that was a time where they were stating, even in the magazines, they were saying that the sun has. I don't remember who quoted it. It might have been Sean. He said the sun has rose and fell on Melvin Anthony. If he comes in tip top, he might be able to get fifth. So I was being counted out by by the powers that be. And that pissed me off.
Yeah.
And that's like, okay, like again, I reach back to that street sense.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show you better than I can tell you.
Mm.
And I had just turned 40 in 2010. So I'm like, okay, you think I'm done? Okay, we're gonna see. And that's when he had the X-Men, you had Tony Freeman, you had Hidetaka Yamagishi, you had Troy Alves, you had, I believe, there were so many athletes in that one.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, he was the mass monster, and they were still pushing that genre. You know, big guys, you win, right? So he shows up, and you know, I took on you know, Dennis James at the time, and went to his house, and he's like, bro, just do what I say. You know, we're gonna tweak some things, but what you already got going, let's tweak it, the diet. So he made me suffer, and that boy brought me to tears. I was in the gym like I was so tired, I couldn't even curl anymore.
Wow.
You know, just sitting there, I was just looking at him. He's going, come on, you know, 50 reps, and I was just sitting there tearing up because I had no energy. I had no more fight, but I was still with that mentality that there's no quit in me. Not when training, and I almost just gave it up. And he goes, but if you could see how you look right now, and I believe I think my body fat after being tested in the water, get dipped in water, a water test, I was like 1.9 or 2.0 on my body fat. And my waist was like 27 inches on the nose. Just, I was dialed in. And the funny thing is that I tore my hip flexor before that show, squatting 500 pounds or something. I'm 2 weeks out or 3 weeks out.
Yeah.
And I'm with him. We didn't stop. We kept training. Like, you know, we're going to go. And the dentist took me to a couple of physical therapists and some guys that knew how to, you know, do some massage therapy. And I kept dieting. I'm like, I'm going to win this show. You know, I couldn't squat anymore, and I only had 2 weeks, so it didn't matter. And we came into this show, and here comes, you know, Tony Freeman. You know, he's walking around, and you got Hide. He's walking around. He's got a whole camera crew. Rich Gaspari, he's an athlete, so he's a sponsored athlete, well paid, and he's got the camera crew following him around. All the camera crews, Mitsuru Okabe and Chris Lund, all these other guys are walking around, and they're taking pictures of everybody but me because of what was said. And I was pissed. Yeah. And I'm like, it's okay. I'll wait. I'm going to be the last one to take my clothes off. So I had shown Flex Wheeler, I think a few hours before it was time to go, or the day before. He interviewed me, and he interviewed Dennis James, and he said, hey, man, look, can we take a look at you? And Dennis James tells Flex Wheeler, who's like, bro, we'll show you, but you cannot show these pictures to anyone. You cannot, you know, let this film out until after the show. Agreed? This is off the record. He said, agreed. So I took my clothes off, and I'm on the side of this hallway, and Flex is looking at me funny. And I'm like, what, bro? He said, I've never seen you look like that, ever.
Wow.
I turned around to the back, and I hit a back double bicep.
Wow.
And he goes, bro, he said, you got glutes, bro. He's like, man, they're gonna have a problem with you. They're gonna have a problem. He goes, Mel, they're gonna have a problem. I go, man, I'm not playing, because they said this, and Sean Ray said that, and Bill said this, and I'm irritated. You know, Tony, he said, well, Tony said he's going to beat everybody at this show because he's 290. I said, I don't give a damn if he's 400. He's going to have a problem tomorrow. And I came back to the show, and these guys are, you know, filming Hide, and they're walking around and taking these pictures, and they go, okay, 30 minutes, guys. And the only thing I did was took my pants down, I think, took my sweats off, started doing calf raises. And Tony Freeman looked at me and walked out the room. Hide looked at me, and the camera crew went out the door. And all the guys that were Flex and Iron Man, they all came to me and started taking these pictures. I'm oiling up. I'm getting ready. I'm not taking my mind off the focus. I'm beating everybody. Yeah. It was so intense that day that they took us, John Tooman at the time, took us through rounds and rounds and rounds of posing during the prejudging. And I'm focused. I'm killing it. You know, I'm in my mind, I'll die today before I leave the stage. Yeah. That was my mentality. I don't need no water. I don't need no more oil. I can pose all day because that's what it was instilled in me. Robbie Robinson, John Brown had us posing for hours. Chris Cormier had me in the posing room for an hour at a time after we trained. Wow. Posing, just going through the rounds, man. So I was prepared for battle. And so after the third round, John Tooman and the other judges was like, you guys need a break. We want to see you guys one more time. And they're moving everybody, giving everybody a fair look. We're in and out, changing positions, going from left to right, in the middle, on the side, We're moving and we're going round for round, 7 poses at a time. So we're like 20 minutes into it. You guys need some water? And at that point, I went, nope. They had to kill me to get me off the stage. I'm good. Y'all need some water? Y'all go get it. And Tony Freeman said this. He's not the only MFer up here. And I looked at him and I was like, well, you just dropped the place. But go get your water. So he walked off, got water, toweled off. They got a little water towel. I stood right in position. I didn't move. I'm ready. He said, you guys ready? I said, I was born ready.
Wow.
And I did my round. And at the end of the win, I leaned over and I looked at Sean Ray and I was like, not too bad for 40, huh? With my first place trophy.
What did Sean do?
And walked off. He just looked at me and smiled and gave me a thumbs up. I mean, what can you say? When you win, you win, you know, and there's nothing, no matter what your opinion is, you can have your truth. Everyone has their truth. Everybody has their truth. You know, and Sean Ray has a great eye, you know, along with the other judges. But on that day, I wasn't not leaving that stage without that first place.
Wow.
And if I would have gotten second, I would have accepted it and took my loss as well as I took my win. But going into this show, my eating habits, my training, my cardio, it was all locked in on. They said I'm done. I say when I'm done, and nobody else.
Was that 2010?
2010, Phoenix. It was the Phoenix Pro Show.
Wow. So I read up. That's what I was looking at my thing. So I read up to, for some reason, I read up to 2008. So 2009. What did you do in 2009?
2009, I did the Olympia. Didn't do too well.
That's right.
I did the Olympia. I think 2 other contests. Can't remember which ones they were.
And 2010 was
2010. I came back around. Did the Arnold. I did the Olympia. You ended at 2008 when I went to New Zealand. I went to Australia. I went to Hungary. I went to England. I was all over the place in 2008. And so 2010 was like they were saying that, hey, you know, they thought I was getting worse. And that was the time when I was like, you know what, I'm going to nail my condition and come in. I won't be the biggest, but I won't be the smallest. Because me at 230, I think I was 233 or 234. That was at the best condition of my life. And that look you could have stood me to a guy at 260 and you wouldn't have, you know, saw too much of a difference. I was very balanced that day.
Has that attitude's never left you, has it? The fighting attitude, like, what did you say? You said, I can't.
I can show you better than I can tell you.
Yeah, fuck. I could show you better than I could. Let me write that down. I can show you better
than I can tell you.
Then I love that. Can tell you. I think I'm gonna adopt that into my to my vocabulary. That I can tell you. I love it. Well, actually, look, we have 2 questions here, so I'm gonna from the viewers, and I want to make sure I ask them. So let's go with that for a second. Sure. It says here, Caleb Merritt said, Caleb, yeah, said, do you know you have one of the most, it says here, underrated backlat spreads in bodybuilding history? It was great. Is this true? Like this lat spread back that you had?
That's what I was told. It was rated in Flex magazine at one point. I think I have it around here somewhere, where they rated my back as the 19th best back of all time.
The what?
I was the ranked number 19. Yeah. It was like 19 out of 20, the 19th best back of all time.
Wow.
And that was a pretty good accolade for me to kind of brag. I said, that's pretty cool. You know, they said I had one of the best backs that ever stepped on that stage. You know, look at all the percentage of people who even made it to the Mr. Olympia. I mean, there's only a certain percentage of people, of men in the world that have made it to the Mr. Olympia stage. And for me to say I've been to the Mr. Olympia multiple times says something. It wasn't just all about posing. My posing could only be matched by a great physique. And the only way I could pose at night in the finals was to be a beast during the prejudging. That's where the real fight is. And that's what's taught. You have to learn that moving muscle to music is only one aspect. It's for the finals. It's for the entertainment value. But to get your placing 1 through last, you have to have a body that's able to battle the person on your left and on your right.
Mm.
And I was taught with the master, John Brown, how to assess a physique in seconds. While a person's walking to me, I can look at him and tell what he has and what he don't have.
Mm.
I can look at a person on my right just from the poses and know what he got and what he don't have.
Mm.
I've been told in bodybuilding that, Melvin had the best eye. I could tell you I told Dexter Jackson many times he was going to win. I told him, who he had to watch because I would go from room to room. And while they're taking all their clothes off all fast, be careful doing that in front of me because I'm going to scan you like a computer. And I'll go right back and tell my boys, he's off. His condition's off. His legs are washed out. His abs are fat. His gut's sticking out. This guy's flat. I would break them down. So when they called me out with these particular numbers, I knew how to approach the battle. It's chess game. It's chess match. I knew how to move my pieces, shot for shot. If I had not the biggest body, right? For instance, Marcus Rule, 300-pounder.
Oh,
there's no way I'm going to sit there and do a most muscular and think I'm going to win that pose.
No chance.
But I would wait like a cat. Okay, I beat, Marcus Rule many times.
Of course.
For me to do the most muscular, I had a good most muscular, but it didn't look like Marcus Rule. So I knew to stay away from that pose and a pose down.
Well, he bloody created a shadow of darkness over the top of you. How could they see it?
Yes,
as well?
sir. He's huge. So how do I match a guy that big? I have to know what my best shots are. I have to use aesthetics. So my front lat spread, I'm going to smash him. My side chest is comparable because I can look thicker than I am. But I'm staying away from that most muscular. I'm staying away from all the big, bulky shots. I'm going to go for the side tricep, backed up bicep. My little tiny waist is going to accentuate so much where it's going to make him look off. My back lat spread, I knew I ain't winning that one because Marcus is wide as a door. So I know to hit that real quick and then get away from it. Hopefully they don't make me hold that pose too long. Right?
Yeah.
The ab shot, abdominal and thigh, that's my shot. I'm getting it. Front lat spread, I'm going to get that. Side chest, I'm comparable. So I won't win every shot, but I won just enough out of those 7 poses to push him out the way.
That is very tactical. And I mean,
that's part. That is posing. That is involved in my posing clinics. You got to learn how to assess a body and know what you have and what you don't have. And you don't show what you don't have in a pose down. Never. You stay away from those shots.
Man, I tell you what, I've learned so much here. I tell you, I'm incredible. All right, next question quickly is, I mean, you might have already answered this one, but a guy running a page called the Australia Bodybuilding. Who was your inspiration to get into bodybuilding?
From Australia?
No, this question's from an Australian IG page here. But his question was, who was your inspiration to get into bodybuilding?
I would say all the greats. Comic books got me into bodybuilding.
All right.
The Marvel comics, the Flash Gordon, the Hulk, who was my favorite, the Beast from X-Men, made me want muscles. Even Superman had muscles back then. Iron Man had muscles. So muscle was accentuated in the Marvel comics, in some of the other comic books also. But that is what I wouldn't say a bodybuilder made me want to lift weights. The comic books did. And then once I saw that there were people that really looked like that, like Robbie Robinson and those guys, oh man, I wanted to do that. I'm like, I want to be like those dudes. Look at Warrior Code's biceps, Look at these guys' dense muscle. I knew that those were real life superheroes. So that's what inspired me. It was the comic books.
Yeah, no, I like the answer there. Let's narrow it down out of all the Olympians, and there's not many number ones. We're talking about number ones. We're talking about as far back as you want to go to current Samson data, right? Out of all the number ones, who had the best posing routine? I'm just saying, like, when you watch a posing routine, who would you go, him, number one? Dorian, Lou Haney, going all the way back, Frank Zane, you name them all. We got them all there. Going, to Ronnie, to you name it. Who would you pick?
Okay. So for me,
For you,
the all-time greatest poser that was a
poser.
Mr.
Because I'm going
Olympia,
to ask body next. Poser.
it was Sergio Oliva.
Sergio Oliva.
And,
Wow.
and I'm gonna tell you why.
Why? Yeah.
When that dude moved, he had such a dominating presence. You're gonna clap or else.
Yeah, I'm going to go back and watch this too. So
When
I'm going to
he
hear
when
this.
he
So watch this.
posed, they waited for him to hit that shot and then boom, the applause without music was retarded.
And that
It
face, the
made
stoic
me.
face.
He had, because posing is a face.
Yeah.
Certain poses get a smile.
Mm.
Certain poses you have to have a Greek-like statuish stone face.
Yeah.
Some poses are serious, and you have to know which face to use, the animation for each pose. And Sergio Oliva, not taking anything away from any other Mr. Olympia.
No, we're not. We're just
Sergio Oliva was my favorite. He drew the crowd in and connected with movement without music. And then with music, he's a phenom. For me. Yeah, it was Sergio Oliva.
And which Olympian do you think was your favorite Olympian? We're not talking about
Ronnie
routine.
Coleman.
Ronnie
Coleman.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody touching Ronnie Coleman even today. That man was two people inside of each other.
It was, wasn't he?
He turned around to the back, and when he hit those poses, it seemed like there was another man inside, deep towards the bone. And then you had this outer muscle that you look like you can just go in and look like The greatest Mr. Olympia to ever touch that stage was Ronnie Coleman.
Also,
shot for shot.
Shot for shot.
You
shot.
Not touching him, period.
Yeah. No, it's he is, like you said, one of the greatest. And now, don't worry about Olympian. Don't worry about posing. Who's your favorite bodybuilder of all? Like, you just love him, like when you enjoy. And it could go as far back as John Brown. It can be anywhere, but you have to. I don't want it to be.
Yeah, there's so many.
But who's one that you kind of get?
Somebody. Okay, so you're asking me who was the one that I wanted to be like.
Like for me, when I look at say Flex Wheeler. That's what I'm going to say.
Oh,
there you go.
Flex Wheeler.
Yeah,
Flex Wheeler was who I wanted to be.
Yeah, just that smile on him too. The face,
just the way
pretty
he
boy.
moved, the way his muscles were.
Yeah.
John Brown had told me before when I first started bodybuilding. He said, "You're like a crossover. You have a physique of a Robbie Robinson, Serge Nubret, Roy Callender, Flex Wheeler.
Yeah,
all in one."
I agree. Yeah.
And I'm looking at him like, huh? I didn't know who these people were at first. I go to studying them. And when I laid my eyes on Flex Wheeler, he said, you have to have a collage and put all the bodybuilders you want on a collage. And most of my collage was mostly Flex Wheeler.
Yeah.
And he said, you'll see how your body, if it has any type of genetic DNA that's comparable to that, your body will change and look like that. So I have pictures of myself standing next to, when we battled in 2003, of me and Flex Wheeler standing directly next to each other. If you took the head and covered it, you couldn't tell who was who.
It did look effortless, didn't it, with Imbo? It did look effortless. It's just something about his grace, even his smile, just when he walked.
He studied.
He
studied the greats, and he was a martial artist. So
that too. Yeah, he was a lethal weapon.
He's the reason why I learned to do the splits.
Oh, there you go.
I taught myself to do the splits because I wanted to do exactly what Flex did.
Yeah, he's, like I said, but yeah, he's quite phenomenal. And like I said, I had him on, and what a gentleman. I mean, all right, I'm gonna pose a question that he put forward, and you tell me what your thoughts are. This is going from Flex. Flex said that every new generational man is a weaker man. So every next generation of man is a weaker man. What do you think about that? That as generations grow, we seem to be becoming weaker as men.
Yeah, I think he could be onto something that, the new generation of men are weaker. I don't know. I would have to agree to disagree
Okay.
based upon how I was raised.
Okay.
If I think that the fight or flight in a man has been diminished through our upbringing, generational.
Maybe that's go on.
Giving a kid too much makes him weaker.
Yeah.
Not learning how to fish. But I was taught by my peers and people that were around me and OGs, and you have to, learn to fish.
Yeah.
You have to learn how to take care of your family. You have to be able to be tough enough to be able to survive the dozens. Meaning every day is a trial. Every day you get up out of the bed is a trial. Every time you go to the gym and train, just getting through that door is a trial. And you can either be weak and just say, I'm just going to take steroids and I'm just going to do bare minimum and have a chemical body, or you can train your butt off and present something that the people have never seen. So being a weaker man, I think it depends on the upbringing, how you were taught. I was taught by people that came before me. My influences were different.
But he's also, he's not just talking about the stage. He's talking about men in general. We're talking about
in general
the whole thing. And I think, and I think the only thing I could put it down to, what I thought was, like, when you think about it, who really taught you to do anything other than you sitting back and watching it? Meaning watching a guy pull off a tire from a car or pull a motor apart. You watched it. No one trained you. No one gave you a book. Mowing the lawns, let's just say, digging trenches, whatever it was you had to do. Your predecessor you just walked. He said, do it, and you did it. No one gave you. But today, mate, if you tell
AI does it now.
AI does it, gives you an explanation on how to do it.
Yeah, we had to mow lawns, so I grew up old school. So,
old school. But also, if I walked,
had a crap.
Yeah, but when you walked in the gym, as you mentioned, you looked across the room and you go, he's doing barbell curls. Okay, that's for biceps. Like now, everyone needs to study it, hack it, gym hacks,
watch a video,
gym hacks.
Yeah.
Study it, break it down, like to make it even better. Intricate.
You follow. You want to be a beast, you got to train with a beast.
You just got to be a beast.
If you want to be as good or better than the guys that came before you, you have to study what they did. And so you can't tell me they're going scientifically.
No.
Scientifically, it's about science. So yes, men are weaker in that aspect.
Yeah, that's
what
I mean.
They're trying to go to the science.
That's right.
They're trying to go to macros and all this BS.
Yeah.
How about eat until you're shredded?
Yeah.
How about that? How about not count macros and just know that, okay, scientifically, you're saying this is going to make me shredded by eating this amount, this time of day, 7 days a week, instead of watching my physique change and training into your body, growing into your body.
Hallelujah.
These guys ain't doing that. These guys is like, oh, I'm just going to take this and take this T3 and do it, and then I'll do half the cardio. No, I remember Mike Sable said, I would eat tuna fish and salad until I looked the way I wanted to look. And when I got too tired to move, that's when I ate carbs.
Also, I heard, that's right. I also, I think Lee also said he loved food. So he knew that he had to up the cardio. He had to up things. Yeah. And I think I think everybody's trying to hack into it where, hey, I don't have to walk if I do the science and diet down, but then you're compromising muscle. But if you went pedal to the metal, you don't need to compromise anything. You can utilize the food. You're utilizing it with your cardio. You're utilizing it with your training. You can even eat a little bit in the deficit too if you felt like you should. Yeah, because you're pumping it. You're pumping the gas.
You're burning you're pushing glycogen out of the muscle.
But everybody's everyone's backing it off by the science, and you're not seeing beautiful muscle.
Yeah, they want machines to do it. They that's another thing I have a problem with.
Tell me.
In my age now, I will train with machines. I will do a pec deck machine, but like I was telling you earlier, there's a different gravity pull with that metal.
100%. 100%.
You'll bench press free weight as opposed to a machine helping you balance.
Yep.
Free weight, your body has to balance. Your body is the machine.
But it's touching intricate muscle while balancing.
Yes. They're saying, a steady walk is not cardio. What? You can go outside and walk your dog for 45 minutes at a fast pace and probably get in better shape than you could on a treadmill. 100%. Why? Because you're walking in an environment. You're going against wind. You're going against weather changes. How do you say that? You're getting fresh oxygen outside. Incline. Go to a hill. sprint uphill.
Yeah.
Since when did you're saying that you can't get big legs or shred your legs up from running sprints uphill?
Walking on
Earl
sand.
Campbell did it.
Walking on sand.
Herschel Walker did it. He sprinted in sand. So now they come with this new science named HIIT. What you think HIIT is? High intensity interval training, right? Sprints in the beach is the exact same thing as doing a HIIT workout.
Yeah.
Sprinting downhill or sprinting uphill is the same thing as HIIT training. So what are you talking about? You're just trying to reinvent the wheel with a name. Man, please.
Yeah.
Just work out.
Well, this week we've loaded a podcast, and you might want to watch it. You like it. He's an Australian bodybuilder called Terry Mitsos, and he was talking about why bodies were a little bit different. He's your era too, back in the 90s, 80s, early 2000s. And he just said, today's bodies are very blocky, and they're blocky because of machines, because because they're not using dumbbells. They're not using a dumbbell incline press, which you're never going to have it perfect on each one. As you push and you reach failure, you're hanging on for dear life. But on a Smith machine, you've got the stability there, so you're not really utilizing intricate muscles. So that's why he said back then the striations, the connection of muscle belly was different. But now today it's all very blocky, he said. It just seems blocky out there.
I believe I know who Mitsos is. I believe I met him in Australia.
Terry Mitsos, his name is Terry Mitsos. I think you have. You would have.
I think I met him.
Yeah. Have a look. Milosh has met him. Obviously, Lee's in Australia knows him as well, and he's done very well. He's a Mr. World. He's competed in the IFBB.
He's been around.
He's been around. He's done Mr. Universe. He's done NABBA. He's been around. Tell me, mate. You are a trendsetter. You're pretty colourful. I saw some of your videos there with your coloured. What colour hair did you have? You had blonde.
Blonde hair. Platinum.
I
used to wear blue contacts sometimes.
Gray
ones.
Yeah, and you went on a dating show, right? You went on a dating show?
Yeah, went on Blind Date. I was on Blind Date. Yes, I've been on Jenny Jones twice, 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
The Jenny Jones show, and I had blonde hair at the time.
Yeah, I saw that.
Cisco was popular back then.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm gonna start a trend. I'm gonna dye my hair blonde, and John was like, "You're gonna do it." You let them. You be the leader, not the follower. So I dyed my hair blonde.
I saw that. Very colorful.
They thought I was crazy. The judges didn't take to it too well.
No. You definitely had color. Even quietly, I'll tell you the truth. Even Lee Priest has a bit of color. He plays around with it too sometimes.
Yes, sir.
But he does. He doesn't say he's a fashionista kind of guy, but he is. He even painted his nails, did eyeliner. He's done it all. He's done it all. But I'm saying
he's one of my favorite guys. He's a good friend of mine. I love Lee. Lee is a funny guy. He keeps me on my toes. That's something crazy.
He does keep everyone on. He keeps everyone on their toes. That's for sure.
Yeah,
he's crazy. And you,
in a fun way.
Look, he's an original. He's an anomaly to the bodybuilding industry. They love him all around the world. You also, now tell me, is this true? As I watched on the dating show, that you were a very good manicurist. Tell us about this. Was this to pick up the girls, man? Was this just an undercover operation?
No, absolutely not. And like I said, in my neighborhood, we had different flavors of the day.
Yeah.
And I have, great family friends that, call me brother, that are Vietnamese.
Yep.
And the Vietnamese had moved to my area, and we took them in. I mean, we meshed with them.
Yep.
And they started to get these nail shops, and I'm like, man, you crazy, man. You made all money. You can make money, bro. Looking like you look, man. Just get your license, bro. Just do it, bro. I got a shop. Get your license. You come work with me.
Yeah.
Tonbo. And I'm like, bro, all right, man. I'll go try it. So I went to Career Academy of Beauty in Orange County, and it's funny because Chris Cormier came to my graduation.
Yep.
And I did it, and I went through the course, and I got my manicuring license.
Yeah.
And went to work. I was working at Jose Bear for a little bit, and I worked at his salon for a while. And it was fun when I did it. It was pretty interesting to see the women coming there. Like, I want him to do my nails. Nobody want to do pedicures. So, the pedicures for me was my thing because it was easy for me. But women are sticklers about touching. Yeah, they don't like touching other people's feet. So I got most of my hours doing pedicures.
I can only imagine this handsome guy down there on his hands and knees with his big guns on him and the massage.
22 and a half. Yes, sir.
These women were having an affair and they didn't even realize it.
Yeah, took a reflexology course for the nerves and all that. Yeah, I was pretty good at it.
Oh, I love it.
So yeah, that I had that, and then when I got on the dating show, they wanted me to do that. I was like, okay, I'll do it nails at the end of the day, no problem.
Mm.
Yeah,
Did you do any acting, anything else? You've also said you've worked with
I
some
did.
actors.
I trained George Clooney for about a year and a half, almost 2 years. I trained Steven Seagal.
Yep.
I trained Michael Jai White. Took him through a few diets and meal plans and got him ready for about 3 or 4 movies. And he was the one that actually, talked to me about, acting. He's like, bro, you're natural, man. You're a natural character, bro. Just freaking do it, bro. And I was like, all right, man, I'll try it. He goes, I'll tell you what I told Mike Clark Duncan. Mike Clark Duncan's a natural. Acting is not what you think. Some guys are not great actors and they have to edit the movie around them to show that they can act.
Yeah.
Some people, like myself, are just natural actors.
Yeah.
So he said, I'm gonna try to get you in a movie. You'll do it, right? If I get you in, I'm like, I would love to do a movie. Heck yeah. And I ended up getting casted in 2006 for the movie Blood and Bone.
Wow.
Had a main part, had my own trailer, had my name in the credits. It was a fun movie and had Iman Walker in it, Bob Sapp. Michael Jai White was the major guy in the movie, and I did his nutrition and workout plan for that movie. Why Did I Get Married To and Black Dynamite, and they ran them consecutive. He filmed for like, oh man, I can't believe 19, 20 weeks or something like that. And so I prepared him for it and ended up getting casted to be in the movie. Man, that was fun. That was fun.
Some of you guys definitely had star charisma, and some did. Like obviously Arnold, did it. Obviously showing the way. Even Lou Ferrigno, the Hulk, and and along the way there was, like I said, some had that star quality. Not all. Like I said, I'm not saying that Dorian didn't have it. I don't want to be like that. I don't want to say Lee Haney didn't have it, but people like you, even like I said, going back to Lee Priest, he's done some television, he's done some acting as well. You guys seem to like it. I don't know why you guys don't delve into it harder. I don't know why you don't double down on it. I don't know why.
For me, it was just a drive, especially where I stay now. That's a lot of driving to get from here to LA and back, and I have to do that on a daily basis.
Yeah,
it's really tough for me to do that now. Back then, I was living in Orange County and going to Venice, and then I moved to, Venice Beach, and it was a little easier for me to get to LA from where I was. So yeah, I mean, some people have a niche for it. Gunter Sklerkamp did a couple of movies. He was into it. We did commercials together. So yeah, some of the guys that I trained, it's like it was fun, being a trainer of the stars. AJ Johnson.
How were they in person? How were they in person?
Wild. AJ was wild. She took me to the red carpet of the Undercover Brother, and I was doing her diet and training her back in the day and teaching her a lot of stuff about training and nutrition. And yeah, some of those actors are they honoring. Some of them are honoring. Then you got others that are really zesty. So, you have to deal with everybody as an individual.
Oh, you're perfect.
Certain things I ain't doing. I'm not doing none of that. So yeah. It was an interesting experience, to say the least.
I won't dive into it further on you. We'll keep it behind the curtains there, man. But I'm sure you're entertaining yourself as well. Don't you worry. I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure you're no pussycat. That's for sure.
Not at all.
So where did the Marvelous One come from? Where did that name come from?
There's a guy who's a famous MC named Lonnie Teeper.
Yeah.
And Lonnie Teeper gave me that name as an amateur at the Orange County when I competed. He said it was the first time he'd ever seen an amateur competitor get called out for multiple encores. After I posed, they wanted to see it again, so I did it again.
Okay.
And so that after that, it was I ran with Marvelous Melvin Anthony. He said, "You're no longer Melvin Anthony. Now I'm going to give him a name, the Marvelous One, Marvelous Melvin Anthony." And I used it. A lot of the guys, I think Chris Cormier, the real deal. There's a lot of bodybuilders that have names from Lonnie Teeper.
Yeah. Okay, so
I was fortunate enough to get it.
It's a great name. Apparently, faith and personal growth has shaped your journey as an athlete and as a man. Yeah.
Yeah. My mom was a church lady, so I was dedicated to the church as a baby. So yeah, I was very, very knee deep in the church growing up.
Yeah, yeah. And tell us, all right, as the fans know you as the marvelous one, the bodybuilder, as a performer, but who is Melvin Anthony off stage?
Off stage, I'm just a man. I guess I would say I'm humble enough to say that, you know, I enjoy people.
Yeah.
I enjoy laughing. I enjoy movies. So I'm off the stage. I'm a regular guy.
Yeah.
You know, I just try to re-evolve in all aspects of my life, and you know, even throughout all the mistakes that I've made, and maybe possibly continue to make. It's always, you know, I want to be the person that everyone remembers. You know, I don't want to be forgotten. So I'm a man who is a giver. And one who loves to engage other individuals in life, and I love my peace.
You are good at that, yeah. So two things. What are you most proud of? One, and what are we looking forward to in the future with you?
What am I most proud of? I guess surviving the game.
Yeah.
Because most of my friends didn't.
Yeah.
And just the game of life.
Yeah.
What was the second question?
So what's next for Melvin Anthony? What are we? What is installed for you? For
me, it's just to continue to teach, and really, I guess would say, I want to continue to educate the youth not to make the mistakes that I made, so that they could be better than I was.
There's nothing better than creating better human beings, better men than us. But to do that, we've got to raise the bar ourselves, not make it too easy for them. You know what I mean?
They got to want it. They got to want it. It takes work. There's no getting around work. Hard work pays off. And if you don't work, you don't get the prize. No. Period. I don't care what corners you cut.
100%. Okay, we're going to go over the body, bro. We've come to the end. We'll let you be. We'll let you go and enjoy your evening, afternoon. I'm going to give you a body part, and you're going to give me one workout, just one exercise, that is, sets and reps. So it's very simple. I'm going to start with traps.
I would say a cluster set of shrugs with maybe 80 to 100 pound dumbbell for me. Pick your weight, and doing 10 reps each position. So shrugging to the front with the dumbbells in the front for 10. Moving the weight to the side, doing 10 reps, shrugging, pulling the shoulders up to the ears, and then switching and reversing my grip, turning the dumbbells in the opposite direction behind my butt and doing the same shrugs for 10. So 30 reps at a time for 5 sets.
Doing that tonight then. That's the exercise I'm doing tonight. Delts, side delts.
Side delt, I would do ladders. I would start off with a mate, particularly like, let's just say I would go 10, 20, 30, 40. 50. So the 10 I would do for 20 reps. The 20 I would do for 15. The 30 I would do for 12. The 40 I would do for 10. And the 50 I would do for 8. I would wait 15, 20 seconds and work my way with that rep range back down. That's one set. Do that 4 times.
4 times. Okay.
Side laterals.
Rear delts.
Rear delts, I would probably do bent over side laterals, heavy as I can go, for 20 reps at a time for 4 sets, and then move on to rear pec decks.
Oh yeah.
To failure, 4 sets.
To failure. Okay. Front delts.
Front delts, I enjoy doing dumbbell front raises with dumbbells. You would position yourself where the lat pull down machine is, under the pads, moving the weights diagonally across to the front of my eyes, and doing that for 15 to 20 reps at a time, heavy as I can go.
Wow. Okay. Lats, back. We're talking about back now.
Back, you need one exercise or just or a regimen?
I don't know. You tell me. You can give us one
exercise. I can tell you my whole back regimen. My whole regimen for back would be lat pull downs with the cable lat pull down, supersetted with seated cable, heavy as I can go, 20 reps a piece for 4 sets, working sets. Um, possibly if you wanted to get in there and get it raw, do 5 sets.
Yeah.
Back and forth. Your only rest is from the lat pull down to the seated. That's your rest. Back and forth, back and forth. You do that 5 times. Second exercise, T-bar rows in the corner with as much weight as you can handle. Supersetting with a dumbbell bent over row.
Oh, yeah.
15 to 20 reps a piece. If you go up in weight, you go up in reps. I'd work my way up to 7 plates. Superset that with the 150-pound dumbbells, 15 each side, left and right. That's 1 set. 5 sets. After that, I would then throw in a machine. Either, I don't know what it's called. It's a row machine, the machine row machine for 5 sets to failure, or barbell dumbbell rows, 4 to 5 sets for 12 to 15 reps.
God, I've already got a back. My back's already pumped listening to that. It's already moving. It's already moving. Chest.
I wasn't a great chest guy. But what I did, I'm all old school, either barbell, the A workout, or all dumbbell work. B workout, I would do 5 sets of incline supersetted with flat bench with the same amount of weight. So if there's 1 plate, 225, I'll do 225 on the incline for 12 to 15 reps, and then I would turn around and get on the flat bench as many as I can handle. Beautiful. For 5 sets.
Abs.
After that, cable crossover flies. There's so many things, dips, and then in with that, I would try to keep my set range between 15 to 20 sets.
And not much rest in between, eh? Just moving.
Not much. If on leg day, I would get 1.5, minutes between sets.
Yeah.
It takes more work, more blood flow.
It does.
It's more difficult.
Abs.
Never really did them.
Okay, no, that's all right. Never really did them.
Yeah, at the end, I would do 6 weeks out. I would do crunches and regular sit-ups, leg lifts. I should have done that more to build that as a muscle, but that's one of the mistakes I regret making.
Okay, good to know why you didn't do it and what you should have done. Biceps,
love 21s.
21s, huh?
Love them. I still do them to this day. 7 reps bottom to the halfway point range of motion, 7 reps top to halfway range of motion, and then 7 full contractions all the way up, all the way down. That's 21 reps. Superset that with tricep push downs, and I would do that for 20 reps, as heavy as I can go. At the time, I was doing the stack, so 255 or some 15, 20 reps.
Oh, well, then that answers tricep and both great exercises.
I work them at the same time.
So we don't, like I said, some people do them, some people don't. I've like forearms. Did you train the forearms at all?
When I did biceps, so at the end of my arm workout, my bicep tricep, I would do 5 sets of forearm curls with a dumbbell each way.
Each way, yeah.
Supinated, pronated. Quads. Leg extension is supersetted with a lion leg curl or seated leg curl. 5 working sets. You could do it 1 or 2 ways. I do, 4 to 5 sets of 100, no matter how long it took for the leg extension. For a beginner, I would start with doing something like this. Whatever weight you pick, you do the number. So if you got 80 pounds, do 80 reps.
Wow.
100 pounds, do 100 reps. 120, do 100 or 20, and work your way up.
That's a lot. Okay.
That's before squatting, before leg press. That's second. I would leg press after that, then I would squat, or vice versa. I would do that superset and then squat for 5 sets, and then leg press for 5 sets, doing drop sets. The numbers 16, 15, 12, 10, 8, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 rep range with 8 seconds in between. That's 1 set. And I would do that with 10 plates on each side.
I don't see 10 plates anymore these days. So.
Yeah, from time to time, I'll venture up there, but my lady don't like me doing that. She's like, you gotta take care of your body. My mind still tells me I can do it.
I know. Hamstring,
probably the same workout I was telling you about. I never really separated hamstrings and glutes by themselves. I always work my quads with my hamstrings.
Yep. Okay. Glutes,
never did them.
Yeah.
I did, because I always was telling myself, oh, I'm working my glutes when I squat. I'm working my glutes when I lunge. I'm working my glutes when I'm doing leg press. So I'm working my glutes. Yeah. I should have listened to Iris Kyle when she was telling me back in the day, man, it's a muscle. Train it by itself. I'm like, you crazy. I'm not thinking the man thing. I'm not going to train my booty. That was my pride got in the way.
I know. And today, they're doing it.
I should have been doing that. I wasn't.
Well,
My mistake.
you weren't the only one back then. Most weren't doing it anyway.
Heck no.
Calves?
Calves, I did at the end of my workouts on leg day. I would do 3 positions, 10 reps apiece, 10 reps with my feet straight, 10 reps with my feet pointed outwardly, heels out, and 10 reps with my feet pointed in. And I would do it as heavy as weight as I could go to do 30 reps.
Okay.
I would do that for 5 to 6 sets.
Okay. Tibialis, which is the front part of the calf.
Never really worked it.
That's okay. So time to promote you. Where can we find you, Melvin? Where are you? What's
I'm in Indio, California. If you want to get me on social media or TikTok, it's _marvelous1, ONE spelled out, not the number. Same thing on TikTok. And my YouTube channel, I don't remember that. I think it's Melvin Anthony 9853.
Man, it has been such a pleasure, such a I don't know, I was going to say such a romance of talking about bodybuilding and delving into that art and finding the words we could express ourselves. I found this very much about expressing, you know what I mean? And which is typical of you. You go, your soul's deep and your heart is wide and your mind is enormous. So like, I just want to say thank you so much, brother.
Thank you so much. I love people. I love everybody. I want a piece of everybody.
You do.
But I guess that's what makes me marvelous. I enjoy people.
100%. Hey guys, another podcast done with another wonderful guest. They're all greats, no matter who they are. So to continue what we're doing and to keep supporting you and bringing the very best, if you could subscribe, hit the notification bell, press like, it only helps us to grow this channel even further. We really appreciate the support and to go and find more all around the world. Bring them here to Muscle Talks podcast and share real, raw and honest conversation around a sport we love, bodybuilding. Thank you for watching this podcast. Thank you for watching all podcasts. So subscribe, hit the notification bell, like, and continue watching us here on YouTube or listening to us here on Spotify.